Welcome everyone, Tactical Lecture, and welcome back to another Wednesday Faction Wars. It has been quite a while. It's been 2 weeks actually. Yeah, last week we took a break from the Wednesday Faction Wars, and now this week we're back. One last Wednesday Faction Wars before we go into the Omens of Destruction patch 6.0. The new patch notes is out, so if we have some extra time left after the tournament, we will cover the patch notes as well. Not that there's a lot to go through anyways. I still need to find the balance patch notes because I don't know where the hell is the link. Because apparently the main patch notes doesn't have a workable link to go into the balance stuff. So yeah, I guess I can I do have some content. I do have some content creator patch notes available, so I can probably go into that instead. But yeah, either ways, we are facing off Rusto, a really good player in the first round. And this is gonna be rough. Wood Elves versus Beastmen as well. We don't have the kind of offensive output to deal with. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. They're just gonna send in a bunch of Senegals and swallow my back line, and I can't really handle that. Unless maybe perhaps if I throw in some Deepwood Scouts, Swift Shiver Shards to blast enemy mobility, hopefully. Do some kiting, more like skirmishing, and then using stuff like Eternal Guards and Branch Raves to hold the line, with Earthblood and most importantly Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma. Let's see, Call of the Wild, we don't really need it. We most likely we need something like we probably need a lot of we need various ways to limit the enemy mobility, so I guess this will have to work. Alright. Just a bunch of ways to lock down the enemy units. Hopefully it'll work, but it might not, so who knows. Other than that, Eternal Gods, and then we need a bunch of backline protection, and then we're out of money. Great. Wood Elves are quite expensive after all. Alright, let's see how this one's goes. I was surprised by how many factions weren't changed at all. Yeah, I don't think they did a lot of drastic changes to the balancing anyway, so yeah. This is gonna it's mostly, I think they probably do a bit more drastic do a little bit more drastic changes in the next patch. Like there's gonna be a bunch of new units coming in, so might as well just balance everything in one go after collecting feedback for the newer units. Probably. From post for the full breakdown. Yeah, there we go. The full balance breakdown. There's not a whole lot to cover, honestly. It's just Black Orcs with great weapons are better because they have a new ability, the Unstoppable Chopper now. Yeah, I think we're ready actually. Not a lot to go through, yeah. Just a random build I came up with. Nothing too serious. And let's see how it goes. I don't even have enough money to get the shielded Wild Riders anymore. Yeah. It's a bit awkward. Actually, we can spare some money, I guess. Do something like this, and then, yep. Oh, nope, not enough money. Damn it. Fine, I'll just. I've got 55 gold. Yeah, I don't. Like, I'm 1 gold short of upgrading the infantry and the cheaper Glade Riders twice, so yeah, no. Just 1 gold short. But either ways, we're trying to spam some more numbers here. Like, the idea is to hold the line with the Dryads, and then hold the flanks with the Eternal Gods and Mobility, while the Swift Shiver Shards do all the damage by shooting. But who knows how it works here. This is still gonna be rough, because Beastman has a lot of really good mobility, and more than enough to flood our back line with our limited defenses. So yeah, Swift Shards might have to carry this, or the Wild Riders. I don't know. But yeah, we shall wait for our opponent and see. Actually, while we wait, might as well just cover some of the. Yeah, might as well just cover some of the new patch notes. Let's see. Warhammer. I think this is the one. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah. So, sorry, okay, never mind. We have the windows ready open, so we can just come back here whenever. It seems like our opponent is ready, and we're just gonna load into the battle first, and then after the battle, when we have some downtime waiting for our opponent or something, we can just check out the patch notes, go through them as we speak, as we wait and wait for our opponents to get ready or whatnot. But either ways, we are on night run here. I think, yeah, we're on Conquest Mode. Good. Knights Run have the capture point there. Well, there's quite a bit of vegetation, actually. But both of us are woodsmen faction, so we don't really care about vegetation. Although I do care a little bit more because I have missiles, and missiles can get blocked by trees, which is not great. Either ways, the wood scouts, I can feel them a little bit more far ahead, and have a little bit of more of a box protection here, so that the wood scouts can retreat back to the protection behind the infantry lines here. Blade Riders ready, Wild Riders. Glade Riders can scatter, can screen out, fan out a little bit more. Fan out. Just cover all the box here, and it's gonna look weird because we're gonna have an infantry box with nothing inside. If my opponent expects something to come out from, expect to see something in the middle, there's not gonna be anything. Instead, it's just these deep wood scouts, which is quite funny. Either ways, we are done with our deployment, I think. Yeah. Oh, yep, that. Blade Riders, Wild Riders. Like the main problem I'm afraid of. The main thing I'm afraid of is that my micro can't keep up with my opponent, and all my mobility gets caught and got charged by Senegals. But let's see what happens here. It seems our opponent is ready, so we're gonna ready up. Wild Riders will be in the center of the box, which is when usually they're outside the box while the archers are inside. No, just because I want the Wild Riders to be close enough to the Depot Scouts to screen any mobility incoming. Okay, cool. Our opponent is really ready now. Oh no! Dangors. I guess. Silver shields, huh? Oh man, already? Come on! Alright, let's just charge those, you guys. Charge those. What else? There's stuff on the flank, so we hold the line, I guess. Alright, chariots aren't buffed yet in this patch. We're good. Send those chariots in. Alright, see if we can pin that down and strain some of these guys down. Pull back some of these guys, and where are the Senegals on the flanks? Oh, come on, why? Oh, okay. Toroks, you're here. Okay, I underestimated that. All right, just shoot that, please. Let's saturate in on that one. You countercharge that. Oh, ow, ow, ow. You guys countercharge that one. You guys finish that off. And Arrows of Curtains, can you do some damage here? Oh, our cow. Okay, our missiles are done for. Fuck. And cavalry is also collapsing. As I said, I'm very worried about my micro not keeping up with the enemy mobility. And my worry is definitely a legitimate concern. The Beastmen can just field so much mobility, I don't have enough units to handle them. I probably just have to seriously box up next time. Yeah, the Eternal Gods are holding, but the problem is that our backline is just completely collapsed by a sheer amount of Sandagors and Zandigors. Ugh. Yeah. That was a quick one. Holy shit. How the fuck did everyone die so fast? Holy shit. Yeah. Lesson learned. Never bring any, never try to bring any missiles against Beastmen. You can't protect them anyways. And now everything at the backline has fallen, and stuff is free to just shit the hell, psycho charge everything to death on my end. I don't even know what the Glady can do at this point. Woof! That was a brutal defeat. What are you doing here? Oh, these Wild Riders are just gonna die. Oh, the magic attack cuts through their physical resistance and just shut them down. Oof. That was quite a brutal defeat. Perhaps if I got some tree kid, maybe it would have worked better. Damn. Like, the front line didn't quite hold either. Just everything slamming into my front line, just run this straight through. Damn, even the Razor Chariots got some good value. Oh, and the Flock of Dooms catching my Deepwood Scouts and a lot of my bunch up units, getting some solid value from there. And yeah, what else? Yeah, mostly just 6 units of Sandagors. 2 of them did Sandagors as well, just trading really well into my Wood Elf Cavalry. My Wild Riders could not hold up. Especially like the Glade Riders, once again I kind of slipped up on their micro, allowing the Sandagors to just kind of flank charge them, catching them out of position and surprise them. Definitely need to get a better hang of my... I feel like I think I should have just strictly tightly boxed up so that they can't flank me. But then I would be falling victim to Flock of Dooms anyways, which is also a problem. This is a rough one for... I feel like this is a rough one for Wood Elves, just because Wood Elves can't really trade well into the... wait, hold on. I feel like... hold on a second. Just quickly asking my opponent, Rusto there to set up a... Yeah, just asking Russ to hopefully set up a spectator slot so we can join in and cast the battles. Yeah. Anyways, before that, let's just Oh hey, Contrarian Codex, thanks for joining my tournament. Thanks for playing in it and yeah, giving us some extra battles. Don't ask for a lobby, this game will be garbage though. Wait. Oh, so you managed to get through and it's gonna be Rusto versus Contrarian Codex? No, I'm still gonna ask for a lobby, dude. I'm gonna try and cast stuff live if I can. But yeah, while in the meantime, we're just gonna wait for, like, might as well just cast all the battles live, right? Doesn't matter if it's gonna be trash or not, but whatever. Yeah. Uh, Let me just quickly reply to my ex-opponent Rusto first. Give me a second. Alright, cool. I think we're done over here, so we can just move on to hopefully finding a lobby to cast a live battle. Yep. Rusto did set up a lobby, and Contrarian Codex is going with Skaven. We're supposed to ban Skaven, but I think Contrarian Codex didn't quite get the memo, but it's fine. It's the last 20 of the of 5.7, so might as well just play whatever, man. Nothing too major. Beastman versus Skaven is rough. I feel like Beastman is still a very strong faction, and despite all the power creep from the Sphinxes and whatnot. But yeah, Beastman is still very strong, and it's gonna be rough for a lot of like more fragile factions against melee rush. Like, for example, Wood Elves. Sorry mate, completely forgot that. Nah, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. It's the last 20 before 6.0, so might as well just play whatever faction you want, and before we move on forever to the next patch. And yeah, I feel like the next patch is gonna be quite exciting. While we wait for the players here, let's just go back to let's just go back to hold on. Let's just go back to the Alright, let's just go back to the patch notes here. Okay, alright, cool. So, the patch notes doesn't have a lot of changes with this, okay, hold on. Just trying to set up this, this window thing. Yeah, let's just center it a bit better. Let's just center this thing. Alright, cool. So let's start with the patch notes balance changes. It doesn't really have much changes, really. Zatan the Black got his price decrease, a massive one as well. 250 gold cheaper. Oh, no, wait, 150 gold cheaper. It's pretty good. Like, nothing game change. Like, I still don't think it's game changing just because Zatan the Black is, still kind of sucks as a Chaos Dwarf Lord. His best mount is a Lamasu. Great Taurus doesn't have breath attacks and kind of shit. And then, Yeah, Lamasu is very fragile. The armor on that thing is pretty abysmal. Like, it's not completely naked, but it's not great either. So regular archers can ping off a lot of HP from the Lamasu. The good thing is that it has some bounce spells, but you're if you're bringing the other single characters, they have spell casting ability as well, so you don't need to bring a second caster unless you want to. But Zatan Black is like you're basically stuck with bringing a second caster. So I don't know. Like Zatan the Black's ability to net is decent, but you are only limited to 2 uses only, and it's not the best thing. Like he's not the best fighter in the world either on some pretty mediocre monsters, so it's probably still not worth to bring Zatan despite being cheaper. Hobgoblin archers more entities, which is great, but I would want to see a little bit more buffs to the Hobgoblin cavalry, which is not here at all. So I'm a little bit sad. Hobgoblin archers can do more damage now with their more entities and whatnot, but the main missile damage output of the Chaos Dwarfs is never the. It's just unfortunately never like the focus. The Hobgoblin archers are never the missile damage dealer for the Chaos Dwarfs. The main thing is really the blunderbusses, the fire glaives. So I don't suspect this would have too much of an impact on the Chaos Dwarfs. Alright, the Beastmen and stuff are still picking units, so we're just chilling here, I suppose. Yeah, dwarfs. Demon Slayer got a price increase. I'm surprised by that because Demon Slayer has never been a meta pick. Like he is very fun to use if you're going with like a bunch of slayers and then you make them immortal, unable to die and whatnot. But other than that, it's really just the Dragon Slayer carrying mostly. Because Dragon Slayer, I feel like 700 gold is still very cost effective for this guy. Because even after you have an 150 gold ability, the ability that gives him more attack and weapon strength if he is near a terror causing unit, that is still only 850, and that basically beats most monster. Trade well into most monster, if not all monsters, in melee. So yeah, Thunderbarge 3,400 gold. It's still way too good, man. Like this thing needs to be at least 4,500 gold to be actually kind of close to balanced in the multiplayer. Because he can just sit there and earn like 3,000, 4,000 gold, despite you don't have to micro it. So yeah, Thunderbarge is still gonna be banned in the foreseeable future. Steam tanks, less mobility. I have yet to test out how the speed changes of the steam tanks impacts them in combat. So this might actually be a good thing to test out once we are in Omens of Destruction. Less ammo and less run speed, charge speed for land ship as well. I don't know. Land ship has never been like. I don't think the ammo is an issue for the land ship. I think the bigger problem is just the unable to hit them while they're moving is more of a problem. So I guess run speed being lowered is gonna be a slight boon, so it might help. I don't know. Played against Thunderbarge on quick battles and played Skaven, killed it within 3 minutes and still got 1,200 valor without being close to the army. Crazy stuff. Yeah, that thing is absolutely broken. And I think we can all agree that it's worth banning. Warhammer Zatan is 300 gold cheaper on mount, but bigger buff would be changing the net number to be longer cast range but shorter duration, so that he would be viable on foot. Ooh, that would be nice, because Zatan on foot would be more on brand, but yeah, Zatan, he's either on foot or on some mediocre monsters, so he would need some changes. Human Boy is saying that the steam tank still wouldn't take any damage if they have move orders. Alright, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter then with the changes. Anyways, I think we should turn off the screen blocker and yep, go back into the battle. So yeah, the main thing about the land ship and the steam tank is that they don't take damage when they're moving. And if that doesn't change, then they're still going to be OP and broken and get banned outright in battles. So they're probably still going to be banned in the foreseeable future. Anyways, let's have a look at the army built here. On the Beastman side of Rusto, a bunch of Pestigors and Zangors. So 4 units of Chaos marked Beastmen, and then we have some Sandagors, no Zantagors today. And 3 Angor Raiders, 2 Angor Spears, one of them the Destroyers of Drakewold, and let's see, 1 Razorgore Chariots, 1 Butchers of Kalkengard, Brave Shaman of Death, and Morgur the Shadowgave leading the army with his Chaos Spawn summon, of course. And summons, I shall say, Lord of Death, Brave Shaman with only Spirit Leech though. So no Fate of Bina. On the other side, for the Skaven, a ton of Poison Wing Globadiers, a front line of Clan Rats, and some Skaven slaves flanking, just providing some bodies to slow down the enemy advance, and hopefully buy some time for the Poison Wing Globes to do the damage. It kicks Zap Zap, the Natty Bull Sharpshooter, Red Ogres at the back there, and some Night Runners. It is actually quite refreshing to see Beastmen and Skavens again, because the last week or so I've just been playing a ton of games in early access, and all I have in my mind are Ogres, Khorne, and Greenskins. Now it's like, oh right, we have other factions. Alright, anyways, a Kick Claw coming in with Brass Orb, Unlimited Power, and Howling Warp Gale, Flensing Ruin, standard stuff for the guy. And yeah, that's it for the army builds. Oh, looks like one of the player is ready, so we're almost starting. Alright, battle has started, battle has commenced. It kicks Claw immediately, casting an Unlimited Power to get some more power recharge and Magic Reserve Wild. Ikixasa opens up, trying to light up Morgur the Shadowgave. Completely missing the guy. Not even a scratch. My god, that's some horrible accuracy. Ikixasa will probably try and wait for the Butchers of Kalkengard to get close, so that they can just ping off some models from that monstrosity. These men are approaching the capture point though, so they will be getting victory tickets first. And Ikixasa just chilling at the back, but they need to move up a bit and try to get in range and start shooting Butchers of Kalkengard, but they're very, very slow. The entire army is just slowly inching for it right now, trying to get the whole formation keep the formation intact when they reach that capture point. What else were we seeing here? Not much, honestly. Yeah. We chillin'. Alright. We are on... now, of course, we are on Conquest Mode, so there's no rules of engagement here. Do remember that part. So, yeah, it is definitely perfectly legal for the Beastmen to not go and engage the Skavens, knowing that the artillery is gonna spell the doom of a lot of their units. Ikixasa now opening at the Zangors. Definitely not a great use of their ammo, but not that they have any other units in range to shoot at. Definitely needs to start moving up and get some units onto the capture point and force the Beastmen to come to them instead. Yeah. The Skavens are playing a little too cautiously. I feel like the Ikixasa should just keep moving alongside the entirety of the Skaven formation, just trying to get in range to cover, to reach the capture point and get those victory tickets, or at least pressure the Beastmen to come for it and wrestle for the control of the capture point. But either ways, seems like Beastman is moving up, while Ikixasa still focusing on the Brave Shaman of Death. Not exactly a great target, since a single entity, fast moving, it can definitely dodge those Warp Lightning Cannon. Oh, well, never mind. Actually, one shot landed. That was quite unfortunate for the Brave Shaman, but the rest of the 3 other shots in the volley completely missed. While the Gutter Runners are getting close, and they might actually shoot Morgur the Shadowgave, which is definitely... oh, nice. Another shot onto the Brave Shaman there. But yeah, you don't want to shoot anything into Morgur the Shadowgave because of his ridiculous missile resistance. We're just still chilling right now as the Red Ogres and Poison Wind Globes are trying to go after Morgur. Oh no, some friendly fire of the Poison Wind onto the Red Ogres, doing a lot of friendly... oh no. You're killing all your own Red Ogres more than you killing Morgur. Morgur himself has regeneration, so he will be fine. He doesn't care. The bigger problem really is the Red Ogres eating their own Poison Wind. Oh, good news is that the Brave Shaman of Death just dancing around the edge of the range of this XSF crew for a little bit too long there. And they're actually getting driven back by those Warp Lightning Cannons. Oh, a few more misses. Okay, this one lands and did some good damage. But now the XSF needs to switch over and start shooting at the Butchers of Kalkengard. You need to shoot at the Butchers of Kalkengard. Anyways, Natty Bubos are now poking at the Sandigos there, while the rest of the Skavens are really fanning out the width of their formation. But the Butchers of Kalkengard are getting close, and oh, nice summon of the Chaos Spawns right next to the XSF. No doubt they will start trying to move against the XSF crew and try to knock out the artillery, which is the biggest threat to the Butchers of Kalkengard. Now the Beastman army is just rotating, trying to focus, trying to scatter the Skaven forces here. Focusing the infantry on this side, which will just bum rush upon only a few units of Skaven slaves. And the other Poison Wind Globes and infantry are all dragged onto the left side. Masterful micro from Rusto here. Really planning out that surround onto the enemy formation, forcing them to split up forces to deal with threats on both sides. But without concentrating their firepower, not all of these Pestigos are being hit by the Poison Winds. One of them has been disrupted by the Butchers of Kalkengard driving through the enemy infantry. And now the Zangos and more Zangos are pushing through. And one Poison Wind is knocked out. The other is also getting caught by the Pestigos here. And the XSF has been silenced, just completely ignoring the Butchers of Kalkengard with those Warp Lightning Cannon, which might be a big mistake here, as the Butchers of Kalkengard still fighting very healthily in the front line. The only problem is that they're getting shot by the Natty Bubos. But here comes the Sandigos ready to shut them down. Night Runners and Red Ogres are trying to come over and screen out the enemy mobility. And some Poison Wind Globes too, doing some good damage to the Sandigos. Now the Sandigos on the other side has been driven off, but at least they have done their duty of distracting the enemy firepower. A lot of the Poison Winds are they were not in position to stop this infantry rush on the right flank. And the Skaven's defenses completely collapse on this side. Even have to abandon the XSF artillery. 2 models down due to the Chaos Spawn summon. And there's nothing to stop the Chaos Spawns at all. The Skavens here still having quite a bit of damage potential left with their missiles. But the problem is, how are they going to stop the enemy? How are they going to stop the enemy monstrous infantry? Especially the Butchers of Kalkengard that can regenerate. Angkor Raiders are also driving up and just showering those Skavens in missiles, pin cushioning them from afar. While the Skavens can't really deal with them right now, not having any mobility units, and their missiles are all being targeted by some Sandigos, while they don't have any mobility to screen off those Sandigos. Now, Natty Bull Sharpshooter retreating, and the Skaven slaves are trying to push up alongside with some Red Ogres trying to intercept the Butchers. But yeah, things are looking quite rough for Skavens here. Another Flensing Ruin this time onto Morgar the Shadowgave, but unfortunately he does have regeneration, so it doesn't really do too much damage to him. Sandigos and Chaos Spawn summons are still running through the enemy backlines without any problem at all. Poison Winds did manage to nuke the Destroyers of Drakewall, so did some good damage. But yeah, the problem is that really, where's the Butchers of Kalkengard? Now the Butchers of Kalkengard are being bogged down by a sheer ton of Skaven infantry, which is not a great thing for them. But yeah, at this point, most of the Skaven defenses are pretty much done for. It is now down to the Gutter Runners and the Night Runners to kite, which is going to be rough. But yeah, either ways, some Sandigos straying a little bit too close to the Poison Wind Globes and are actually getting targeted and destroyed by those projectiles weapons teams. Even if they charge in, the heavy armor at 100 of these Poison Wind Globes will help them survive for a little bit. So maybe, perhaps the Red Ogres can come in and help and save them. Maybe, or maybe not, actually. As there are some Zangors coming in to finish them off. Morgar the Shadowgave himself is getting quite low in health. So yeah, that is good news for the Skavens for sure. And also the Sandigo mobility are running out. Poison Wind Globes are trying to run for their life, trying to get away from those Zangors, while Night Runners will probably be sacrificed to intercept the enemy infantry. More Poison Winds are returning, and they're getting close to the Angkor Raiders, ready to just finishing them off, while the rest of the Beastmen infantry are running low in HP. So there are some regrouped Red Ogres and Skaven infantry ready to just finish them off and pick those resistances off. And Morgar the Shadowgave still getting bogged down by a bunch of Red Ogres. This is getting quite dangerous here. Flensing Ruin on top of him as well, draining his health, reducing his armor to 0. Not that it matters much to the Red Ogres, but every little bit of damage boost helps against Morgar the Shadowgave right now. And just counteracting his regeneration and tankiness. Poison Wind Globes continues to destroy the enemy Ungor Raiders, and the Pesticores are still a little bit too busy going after, I'm not sure going after what, perhaps some routed, they're going after some routed Skavens perhaps, but either ways that puts them very vulnerable to the Poison Wind Globes and just getting a bunch of damage onto them. Morgar the Shadowgave has been routed, but the Red Ogres have been tied down by the Butchers of Kalgengard. There's a lack of tools to finish off Morgar right now, and he will come back if he is allowed to. He will come back with regeneration, with renewed HP. Now the Zangos are trying to go after the Poison Wind Globes, using their Siege Barrier to block up some of those Poison Wind damage. And now they're getting into charging distance, and that should be able to finish off these tattered Poison Wind Globes. Something needs to be done to finish off Morgar, otherwise he will come back, and that will be a big problem for the Skavens in the late game. And there's still a Lore of Death caster. Yep, the Brave Shaman of Death is still roaming on the battlefield. He is low in HP, but he still has HP, and that's what's important. Just dropping those Spirit Leeches here and there to finish off a Kick Claw. Night Runners are trying to go after Morgar. Yeah, they're close enough so Morgar will be kept routing, having enemy units nearby. And Gutter Runners are roaming the battlefield. Not sure what they're doing here. Something needs... maybe they want to go after the Zangos, perhaps? Or maybe that's the job for the Skaven Slaves. Either ways, a Kick Claw is still on his Doom Flayer, so he's just running over some infantry. The problem really is the Spirit Leech caster constantly harassing a Kick Claw with not much the Skavens can do against it. Actually, Flensing Ruin and the Brave Shaman is actually shattered before the Flensing Ruin was even activated, just being nearby enemy units while he himself is getting pretty low. But either ways, even without shattering earlier, the Brave Shaman will still be finished off, or at least being pushed off by the Flensing Ruin. Looks like the Beastman push has completely fallen apart at this point. They still have some pretty strong infantry around. Butchers of Kalgengard still regenerating, but Morgar is gone, and that led to a massive leadership issue over the Beastman units, who isn't known for their leadership anyways. Skavens, though, managed to capture the point right before the tickets ran out for them. Yeah. At 500 tickets, 522 tickets, the Skavens somehow managed to capture back this capture point here, and now mounting a counter-offensive. Seems like Contrarian Codex did a really good job just retreating orderly, having an orderly retreat with his missile forces, with his weapons teams, just bringing them back and conserving them, throwing in those disposable chaff units to delay the enemy advance. And while the Poison Wind keeps dishing out the damage, 166 kills, 1600 damage, and now all these infantry that try to get to the Poison Wind Globes get absolutely obliterated by the Poison Winds in this kind of late game, being peeled back. But Butchers are still fighting, but the thing is they're just kind of going after Night Runners, which is not the greatest use of their time. I dare say. Small Wheel Ikit, haven't seen that for a while. Indeed, and Small Wheel Ikit seems to be getting an upper hand here. The Zangors managed to get on top of the Poison Wind Globes, but they took so much damage, they themselves shattered, while still having 83 models and roughly 20% of their HP. Or maybe even 1/4. And it's really down to the Butchers of Kalgengard to carry the game. Does it still have any more Flensing Ruin? That would be really key here to keep those Butchers HP low, just deny them from more HP regeneration, because right now they're single-handedly carrying the entire Beastmen. I mean, they are the only Beastmen left, pretty much. Everything else is routed, or on the verge of routing. No, everything else is routed. So it is down to the Butchers of Kalgengard here to beat up everything on their own. They do have a lot of regeneration. I mean, not a lot. It's like another 1,000-ish HP to regenerate. And their Terror does come in quite clutch for this for the Beastmen in the late game here, just Terror routing the Skavens, like these Night Runners here, getting hit a few times from the Butchers, and they're Terror routed. And the nearby Skaven slaves immediately just shattered even. And yeah, things suddenly looks like they're in favor of the Beastmen once again. As the Skavens are just terror-outing near the Butchers of Kalkengard. Now the Night Runners are trying to kite now, but the Butchers are going after them. Ooh, this is rough. Archers, the Ungor Raiders have regrouped, so they're just trying to lure those Night Runners into range and start poking them down with their own archer fire. While the Night Runners trying to whittle down the HP of the Butchers as much as possible, softening them up, maybe wait for a Flensing Ruin to finish off the rest of their HP or whatnot. But right now, the Night Runners are not in good shape, neither is a Kick Claw. And we're down to the pretty much the last couple of units on each side. Actually, there are some Skaven slaves on the far side, but I don't think that even matters in this kind of scenario. They're just too far away. And right now, the Ungors might want to just shoot at a Kick Claw. A Kick Claw is very low, so maybe a volley of Archer is enough to finish him off. Oh no, he's getting very dangerously close to the Butchers. He does not want to get tied down in melee. Oh, a volley of Archer fire coming in. It is taking fire, so his HP isn't affected by the Archer fire, but he does get routed by the attack by missile. Under missile fire leadership debuff. That -5 leadership, just enough to put him into -4 leadership. And yeah, that is gonna be it here. Nothing to kill the Minotaurs in the late game. Yeah, basically. I was about to finish typing, but okay, never mind. Seems like Skaven somehow managed to seems like somehow Skaven scrapped a really close battle, but unfortunately the Butchers of Kalkengard was too much for them in the late game. Really great performance from Contrarian Codex here. I really appreciate that kind of retreating tactic. The orderly reposition, the tactical repositioning with the Poison Globadiers, just trying to keep them alive as long as possible. Most importantly, just finishing off those Senegals, focusing them down in the early game. With the Senegals on the other side being heavily targeted by the Poison Wind, and even some Red Ogres just being shifted over to the other side, allowing the right flank to collapse. And losing a couple Skaven slaves and maybe one unit of Poison Wind Globes, but at the meantime, they managed to focus down some of the Senegals, allowing the Poison Winds to to fire in a relatively safe position. When there's only infantry charging them, they are more than enough to handle themselves by just deleting those infantry before they get into melee range. But unfortunately, just nothing with losing the Warp Lightning Cannon, that means, and also losing the Natty-Bubble Sharpshooter, that means the Skavens no longer have anything to finish off the Butchers of Kalkengard, who were pretty much still have 15 models at the late game, and just constantly regenerating, keeping up that balance of power. Even if they managed to finish off Morgar the Shadowgave, that was still not enough to deal with these elite Minotaurs. And yeah, the inventory did surprisingly poor on the Beastman side. Mostly just deleted by various kinds of various Poison Wind Globe teams. While Ikit tried his best to carry, same goes for those Poison Wind Globes, but unfortunately, oh, these Red Ogres did some solid damage, and these ones as well. Getting some good trade into the Senegals and just fighting them off. Though unfortunately, if they fight against the Butchers, they just died. Oh, actually, one of the, I think it's probably this one. One of the Red Ogres managed to surround and beat up Morgar, so that was where a lot of the value came from, as well. But other than that, yeah, it's just the artillery, the long range firepower. Unfortunately, didn't quite manage to do the trick here. All right, next up, I think it's probably gonna be a finals. Who won the finals in the end? I mean, who got into finals? Ash07 Tomb Kings versus Rusto's Beastmen. Two top tier factions, and let's see who should reign king in this last Wednesday faction wars of the free 6.0 update. And yeah. Actually, I should have. Oh shit! I forgot to post my stream on the other Discord to do those mandatory self-promotion. Let me just quickly do that first. Alright, yeah. Now we just wait for Ash to show up, while at the same time we can screen blocker and scoreboard. Once again we have Ash here, but I think we have to move Ash to the right side. Ash is going with Tomb Kings, while Rusto is going for Beastmen. And yeah. There we go. Yeah. Now let's load up the window with the patch notes while we just wait for the players. Yeah, we covered the Empire. They have reduced speed on the steam tanks and landship. The run speed got reduced, but the problem really is still the fact that they can't get hit when they have a moving order. They're constantly moving, so the attacks miss their hitbox. So yeah, they will still be very strong, and probably still be banned. Black Orcs have an update now. The Black Orcs with shields now have immovable bulwark. I don't know about the campaign, so Black Orcs with shields have immovable bulwark that can boost their melee defense by 24, while reducing melee attack by 24. I don't think that's a great ability for the Orcs, because the Greenskins are more of an offensive focused faction, and the main thing about them is they just want to just crump their opponents in front of them. Holding the line is not especially useful for them. Like, the Black Orcs with shields is literally the only thing that can hold the line on their entire roster. Maybe the Orc Spears can, but still probably you're better off if you're fielding an expensive unit like a Black Orc. You're probably better off just boosting their offensive power to crump the enemy front line and just overpower them anyways, instead of holding the line. Unless you're playing in campaign. Now, in campaign, that probably would work if you're doing a bunch of if you're using a bunch of rock lavas or magic foot of gorks to whittle down the enemy front line forces or whatnot. But great weapon, Unstoppable Choppers is a weird one. I like it because especially with, like, Greenskins, unfortunately, even Black Orcs suffer from the lack of melee stats in general. So even if you get more, the offensive capabilities is increased, not by increasing melee attack, but by increasing their weapon strength. So you're getting 25% weapon strength increase from the Unstoppable Choppers, but at the cost of minus 24 melee defense. So the Black Orc great weapons, even if activating an Unstoppable Choppers, they'll probably still lose in melee combat, because they are taking more damage due to the lack of melee defense, and they're still not landing those hits. They're not landing those boosted attacks consistently because of their lack of attack stats. However, in this patch, the Greenskins have a bunch more of melee attack buffs, like especially with Gorbat, plus 10 attack and defense with a passive ability. And it's in constant aura, so it's a better version of Raponce's Banner of Fleur-de-Lis. So the Greenskins around Gorbat can have a plus 10 attack and defense, and on top of that, Gorbat has has melee attack and melee defense buffs that can compensate for the loss of melee defense, or simply boost their offensive power by getting more melee attack and allowing those melee attacks that got boosted to land more consistently. And on top of that, you have the other buffing spells. I'm sure Human Boy covered it in his video previously about how Greenskin got a ton of melee buffs. Like, you have Fist of Gore, you have Airway Go, you have Sneaky Stab, and you have the army ability Wah. So there's a lot of abilities for Black Orcs to compensate, to synergize with the Unstoppable Choppers and make them increase weapon strength even more powerful in melee. So I think the great weapon Black Orcs with all the melee synergy would be pretty fun to play with, whether in campaign or multiplayer. And I really like this new ability change. If Greenskin had a unit like Goblin Healer, the Black Orc Shields might have some use, yeah, but this faction just isn't made for defensive play. Yeah, unless you're playing in campaign and you're trying to spam Foot of Gorks on an enemy front line or something. Problem with AP and that cost reduction could be a good choice now. Oh yeah, Ground and Punch has a bunch of attack buffs as well. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of the language of the boys, the Groms, the language of the boys. That would be fun. And then you have Warzag as well, with the Bonewood Staff and his melee attack spells. And yeah, there's a lot of ways you can play with you can try to play around with the Black Orcs with great weapons. I'll probably try to cast a battle where I was playing against Lernon. I think it was one of his first games playing in early access, so with Korn. So I managed to beat him, but only because Lernon was not familiar with the game, with the new units. Like, we played a few games. We played a lot during early access, and then I beat him 3 times when he was trying to test out the Korn army, and then I lost like 10 games straight against him afterwards when I was testing out my army build ideas and stuff. That was quite funny. But yeah, seems like there is some really fun buffs to synergize with the Black Orcs now. The Blorks. The Blorks do about 40 to 50 damage per hit, depending on enemy armor. The toggle gets plus 13 damage, but the issue is that most infantry already die to 2 hits. Bro! Black Orcs can now do over 100 damage per hit now. I mean, at least from the replay I played against Lernorm, with all the buffs activating at the same time. So yeah, it would be really fun to show you guys that. But yeah, and other units don't tend to have too much MD for them. I don't think MD really matters for the greenskins anyways. Yeah, there's very little marginal benefit for the great weapon ability, but it makes anything with effective ammo of 23 to be more likely to hit them than miss. Yeah, but if you have a bunch of attack buffs boosting them, so like you're just maximizing the benefit you're getting from those attack buffs, right? Since the attack buffs are time limited, you might as well just try to get more damage out while the buffs are still active. But yeah, anyways, before we move on to ground punch and whatnot, we can turn off the screen blocker and the scoreboard as well. Oh wait, no, not scoreboard. Turn off the window capture. Okay, we're on the battlefield now. Beastmen versus Tomb Kings. Rusto versus Ash. Now, Rusto going for a front line of Zangos and a few Angor Raiders. Seems like he's really taking a liking to the Zangors in this tournament here. And we are not seeing any Zangors because he already have 4 Zangors. Now, the rest of the army, some Razor Gore hurts, providing some armor-piercing mobility. And once again, we're seeing Torox, the Brass Bull, on the battlefield, and he is supported by a Gore Bull. So 2 Angry Cows on the field. What else? We have the Jabber's Life and a Brave Shaman of Wild with only Trader Kin. Very standard stuff here. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's see on... Yeah. Wait, huh? Sorry. On the other side of the battlefield here, we have Ash's Tomb Kings. A bunch of Skeleton Warriors, a bunch of Skeleton Horses, and some Nekara... Wait, what? Yeah, some Nekara Horsemen as well. Oh, they're even bringing the Necropolis Knights. Interesting. Of course, they're the Tomb King, so they're bringing the Double Cat, Cetra, on his War Sphinx. And the Sphinx of Uskev. And the Chosen of the Gods. And that's about it for the army builds on both sides. As Cetra's spell is only Assyrian's Incantation of Vengeance here, and that's about it. Single Manatee is here, boys. Necro Knights with Halberds feel very strong right now. Really? I don't think I've ever used them. I'd rather just bring the regular ones without anti-large. Well, I guess against single entities, this is probably worth it. This is probably worth it. But yeah, anyways, while they're still picking what to do, deciding what to do with their army deployment, we can go through the rest of the greenskin units. Grom the Punch at massive cost reduction. 250 gold cost reduction. That is absolutely massive. So he can he'll be much better now. Like, he's decent before. Not the greatest, but also definitely still decent. Now he's much better now because of how much cheaper he is. Oh, shit. Battle begin. Battle begin! Yeah, the Shapti with Scatter Shot, the Chosen of the Gods, absolutely obliterating the Tangos, knocking down on their missile block chance. Not that it matters against all these artillery. Like, one-fourth of their unit is already gone, and then Cetra comes in just chomping around. And because there are no great weapon Minos here, there's nothing to really threaten Cetra. There are some low leadership Razor Gore Hurts, but that's about it. And that's not going to make a difference. Now, Zangors are clashing into the front line here. Also, Cetra is getting hit by Traderkin and a bunch of Angor Raiders shooting at him. But minor damage, I would say. That's only minor damage. Now, of course, the double Angry Cow is still going to be quite threatening against Cetra. So Cetra definitely does not want to get caught out of position like that. Double Angry Cows hacking at Cetra, doing some really good damage. Though the Necropolis Knights are charging in, pushing their way through those Zangos, and Jabba's Life on the other side is also trashing enemy infantry. Though Cetra is still being pinned down by the double Angry Cows. Brass Body is activated on Taurox here, providing extra damage resistance to tank the hits from both of the Kitty Cats, while the Angors are trying to just whittle down Cetra with their arrow fire as much as possible. And Razor Gorhut counter-charging those Necropolis Knights, trying to pin them down. Oh boy, and Cetra is getting absolutely slapped by the double cows. Oh no. Especially Gorbo have anti-large and... Oh, Bloodgreed is not activated? Okay, never mind. Either ways, Cetra is still getting absolutely dumpstered, and because he doesn't have the incantation of protection, he has no way to save himself from this attack other than try to get away. But it's not that easy to get away from two dedicated single entities just trying to use all their might to kill you. So yeah. Now the Nekara horsemen are left out. Oh shit! No! I forgot to turn off the no. All right, I'll cast this again. All right. That's so embarrassing. Okay, I'm not trying to squeeze in more. I'm not going to try to squeeze in more of the cheeky unit. I'm not trying to squeeze in any more of the cheeky Pagenos tracking anymore. Let's just focus. That was embarrassing. Anyways, Gorbull and Taurox absolutely slapping Necro Sphinx. That was so dumb of me. Anyways, yeah, nah. Cetra just getting absolutely slapped by Taurox and Gorbull. No. Alright, I'll cast this again. Don't worry about it. I'll cast this again. But yeah, Gorbull and Taurox getting absolutely having a hell of a time with Cetra, and Necro Sphinx is still roaming around, this time trying to kill the Traderkin caster, but the rest of the infantry is just collapsing for the Beastmen. Although the single entities are still very strong, but now the Necropolis Knights managed to get us around on Gorbull and Taurox using their mass and anti-large to pin them down. Cetra is getting out of there. He is slowly but surely getting out of the enemy pursuit, but maybe the double cows will still get out, manage to get out and hack them down. Oh, looks like it's gonna be a Traderkin finishing off Cetra, doing some minor damage to the Chosen of the Gods as well. But yeah, Tangor is fighting skeleton warriors there. That should be a good trade for the Tangors, but here comes the Necro Sphinx and the anti-large halberds and more skeleton infantry and some Nekara horsemen just trying to pin down those double single entity. It looks like Gorbull managed to get out, but not Taurox though. Taurox does not have his explosion on him. Yeah, he doesn't. He does have Slaughterer's Call, providing those +8 melee attack and leadership to surrounding units, helping them fight a little bit more effective in this kind of engagement. Cetra though, unfortunately finished off by... Wait, he got finished off either by the Razor Gore charging them, or getting finished off by the friendly fire of the Chosen of the Gods. Either ways, not great for the Tomb Kings as they had lost their leadership, and now the Necro Sphinx is now pinned down by the two angry cows. What happened to Cetra previously also happens to them. Happens to the Necro Sphinx at this point. And a lot of the Tomb Kings are just suffering from leadership issues. the Chosen of the Gods use up all their ammo, but somehow they didn't manage to earn back their value, mostly shooting at just valorless enemy chaff, and now they're gonna get dragged into melee by Zangors. But if they can get a charge on the Zangors, they probably will win this. Fighting 2 BM single entities in the wood is very dangerous indeed. Indeed. They don't receive any melee stat limitations while the enemy does. But yeah, Nekara Horseman is I think that's gonna be GG for that's probably gonna be GG for the Tomb Kings. They still have a lot of mobility, but the summon Ushapti is dead, and now it's all skeleton warriors on the field and some Necropolis Knights trying their best to hunt down Cetra. Not Cetra, but Taurox the Brass Bull. But the problem is that they're fighting in the woods while the Beastmen are not afraid of fighting in the woods. They don't receive any stat penalties. Yeah. Now we're still on patch 5.7 something, so we don't have the melee stats being reflected here in terms of terrain penalties. But great enough. Great news is that we will see that in the next patch. So yeah. Either ways, yeah, Taurox and the Gorbull will carry this game as the last bit. Wait, what the fuck? There's the Necropolis Knights completely forgotten on the far side. Where were you guys? No. What a big mistake. A tactical reserve of Necropolis Knights being forgotten on the far side. They could have pinned down. They could have been used to pin down the double cows way earlier. Now, they still have a chance, I think, if they can just cut down the Beastmen infantry support and get a surround on double Angry Cows. But even then, the Angry Cows have a lot of melee stats for them to power through, especially the anti-large armor piercing. And the Necropolis Knights, because they have been spending the whole time chasing units, their vigor is almost done for as well. Now, if they can get a snipe on Taurox, this might still be a win. But Taurox is trying his best to get out of there. He is poisoned, down to 48 speed now, so not exactly having the most speed. But yeah, the cycle charging is gonna put a toll on these Necropolis Knights with halberds. It's not gonna. They're still very healthy, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough in this late game. I mean, the Beastmen infantry are mostly gone. The Jabberslav is probably gonna be dead soon as well, or at least won't be much of a threat being routed soon. But oh no, a Traitorkin draining away the health of all these remaining Tomb Kings units. Balance of power is shifting into army losses for them, and I think that is going to be GG. That leaving out the Necropolis Knights with halberds is a massive mistake in the early to mid game there. All right, we definitely need to save this replay because we need to cast this again. Alright, apologies for the early game mishap with the screen blocker. But yeah, Gorbull and Taurox slapped the hell out of Cetra, which we totally missed out on the screen. We'll check it out again later. But otherwise, we the rest of the Beastmen army did okay. Nothing too substantial. It's mostly Gorbull for once carrying the game, especially the Angry Cow Lord. They have the slaughter call, which adds extra melee attack, making the supporting Gorbull even more effective here. And what else? Yeah, I think it's mostly just oh, and the Traitorkin draining away the health of the single entities and monsters, and Cetra didn't get a whole lot of value as a result. Neither did the Sphinx of Uskap got some good value, and one of the halberd Necropolis Knights, but this one that got forgotten throughout most of the game came back with like almost full health, but just nowhere to be seen for most of the game. That was a big mistake on the Tomb Kings, and with that one unit of Necropolis Knights, they could have protected Cetra, they could have supported the Necrosphinx when it was still alive against the double Angry Cows. Yeah, that was quite a painful defeat. Alright, screen blocker windows capture again, and then we're up with the screen blocker again. Alright, grab the punch. The big one, Rogue Idol, I believe the regular Rogue Idol would probably got a cost reduction. No, it is just the big one, the ones that throw rock. Got a cost decrease. which is nice, but nothing too substantial. Black Orc Big Boss, more armor-piercing weapon damage, and I love to see it. Yeah, that's definitely a good change. But I don't think we'll see much of a Black Orc Big Boss either way. Since, I mean, you don't really need a single entity duelist, a fighter character, on a green skin army. If you want to fight big monsters, you have the options to go Black Orc, not Black Orc. You have the options to go Orc Boy Big Guns, or just use Mass Daka, or use Stone Trolls to pin down enemy and just smack the hell out of them. That works too. Black Orc Big Boss doesn't offer too much utility outside of a little bit of minor stat buffs, but that's about it. It's great if he's a better fighter, but he's still a little bit too expensive, in my opinion. Other than that, actually, just give Russ the first win first. Yeah. Goblin Great Shaman with the Catchweb Spider Shrine. Let's see. Cost reduction, which is great. And I think we might see more use of the guy. I feel like the new Flinger Spider can be really good with because they have a vigor reduction contact effect with their missile. So we might actually see double spider builds, maybe. Not quite sure. Where's that getting less armor piercing damage, shifting from armor piercing weapon damage to base weapon damage on his Spleen Ripper. I don't think that matters much. You want Warsack not because of the melee profile, but more because of the buffs anyway. So Warsack will still be a relevant character. Crimson Killer is getting increased melee stats, less melee attack, more melee defense, significantly more melee defense. Making them a more balanced. Actually, getting more base weapon damage, but less armor piercing. Huh, interesting. So they are more of a non-armor piercing now. Still having anti-infantry bonus and good charge bonus, but they do feel a bit more of a balance. Black Orcs having the ability to either switch over to unstoppable choppers or immovable bulwarks. So they are more of a balanced Black Orcs now. Ragnarok Queen reduce costs, so it might be a spider. It might be a spider meta. Goblin Big Boss with increased cost, but a little bit increased performance with stats and weapon damage as well. Goblin Big Boss is already very cost efficient, and we might see him more actually as a result. Like he's just a great. Like you would rather bring a Goblin Big Boss with they need stabbing to reduce enemy armor and melee defense over a Black Orc Big Boss, because you already have enough fighters as a green skin anyways. Yeah. Goblin Big Boss, Orc Shaman, same shift as Warzack there. Less armor piercing, more base weapon damage, shifting from armor piercing focus to base weapon focus. Orc Warboss, he's still not going to be relevant. He doesn't have his toolkit is still limited to actually be impactful in the battle. Even if he has increased melee performance, it doesn't really matter. Black Orcs with great weapons, increased cost, but they have better melee stats and also the unstoppable chopper ability, which is neat. Alright, now our spider less cost, which yeah, we might see a bit more appearances of spiders now. Anyways, let's just drop our window capture and army blocker as well. Alright, army builds on both sides. Now the players have to use different characters now. Different lords as in, so that we have a little bit more of a build variety. On the Beastman side, Malagor the Dark Omen flying around with only Flock of Doom to drain down the enemy infantry blobs. And then we have the Eye of Morslip to chuck some rocks at the opponent. Front line of Angor Spear Herds and second line of Angor Herds plus some Zangos. Once again bringing Zangos, but this time we have some Zantagos hiding in the trees. Wait, hold on. Rusto, I don't know if you're listening, but We only allow 2 Zandagors. Yep. Okay. Cool. Rusto responded, and it seems like they noticed their mistake, and will put 1 Zandagor in the corner and just not touch it throughout the game. Basically fighting at a disadvantage. Once again, we are seeing Gorble, double Gorble this time. Oh boy. We have some angry cows indeed. Double Gorble with their great weapons and anti-large armor piercing. And on the other side of the battlefield here, for the Tomb Kings, the front line of a Skeleton Spear and some Ushabti with great bows, one of them the Chosen of the Gods, some Tomb Gods with halberds holding the back line here. 4 of them, in fact, and a single Sepulchral Stalker is going for a box attempt with the Tomb Kings. I am a bit worried because the Flock of Dooms are going to drain them down. But we shall see here. Once again, we have a Necrosphinx, not the Sphinx of Uskep, just Necrosphinx. And we'll be leading the army. Arcane the Black is providing some spell support with only Spirit Leech. No doubt great at countering Malagor over time. The problem is that with this kind of infantry heavy army, they are going to be quite vulnerable to the Rock Throws and Flock of Dooms. So yeah. Now the Rock Throws are going to come in and start smashing some skeleton infantry. Not gonna lie, I really dislike our Sphinx into Tomb Kings. Nobody likes that. They are a very strong anti-large. Oh, into BM. Oh, actually you're right. Yeah, because it's a big target that can be quite vulnerable to throwing axes, and it does fire damage and doesn't do much against Taurox, maybe. But either ways, anyways, the skeleton spears are getting absolutely smashed apart by the throwing rocks from the Eye of Morsleep, and the Flock of Doom is getting really good value, hitting a Tomb Guard, a Skeleton Spear, a Sepulchral Stalker, a Chosen of the Gods, and some more Skeleton Spears. So, like 5 units with 1 cast. And though Malagor, he himself taking some damage, getting 400 gold from that 1 cast is definitely not bad. Skeletons are now clashing with Angor Spears, but Angor Spears will try to hold the line while Eye of Morslet pound them. Especially the Tomb Guard here, standing so close to the other Skeleton Spear. That's gonna hurt when the rocks come in. I don't know why the Flock of Doom effect is still on, but yeah, it's still on. Apparently affecting the Sepulchral Stalkers. Anyways, Skeleton summoned by Arcane the Black here, trying to disrupt some of these Angor Raiders who are trying to pepper down the Ushabtis. Zandagors, 2 of them, are flooding in, trying to surround and pin down the Necrosphinx here with their armor-piercing attacks, and the rocks keep coming in, thinning out those Tomb Gods and just prepping the battlefield for the late game here. Archers continues to fire as the Ushabtis are not really focusing on the archers right now, so the archers have free reign to just chip away the health of the Chosen of the Gods and the Ushabti with great bows. The skeletons and Tomb Gods are holding on the front line there, but one of the skeleton is slowly fading away, slowly crumbling, though some of the Angor Spears are also being broken off. 1 unit of Angor Raiders has been dealt with by skeletons. Oh, nice rock throw from the Eye of Morsleep, and also more Flock of Doom, draining away the health of the Tomb Gods, softening them up, making them less effective in the late game scenario, while the Zandagors? Well, the Zandagors are retreating. Not sure why they're just pulling so far back. I honestly don't get why, but seems like the Beastmen are not in a rush of taking on this Tomb King's box. Especially Zandagors, probably trying to just keep them stay back and allow some more Siege Barrier regeneration for them. Now here comes the more healing from the Realm of Souls abilities, allowing the Tomb Gods to recover some of their lost HP from the Flock of Dooms, while Malagor just stays far back there. And yeah, both sides just chilling, taking a really slow approach to this battle. Beastmen did manage to capture the point with the Angor Spear standing nearby earlier, but now the capture point is now being retaken by the Tomb Kings. Another rock throw, really focusing down the Sepulchral Stalkers with those giant rocks here, with the Eye of Morsleep. And the Sepulchral Stalkers is down to 10 models. Although the Ushabtis are still doing good damage to one of the Gorbles here, who are trying to double team the Necro Sphinx, but they are retreating back into the protection of halberds. Though with the thinned out infantry front line, the skeleton front line, the Gorbles were able to push through the enemy screening of the Tomb Gods with halberds, and now getting on top of the Necro Sphinx. One of the Gorble will probably try to extract himself, as they are now being Spirit Leech down. Another giant rock throw, killing another model of the Sepulchral Stalker, and also smashing apart some of the Tomb Gods as well. A nice patient approach from Rusto here. Slowly but surely whittling down the health of all these Tomb King's constructs. One of the Gorble, though, getting hit by the Necro Sphinx, taking a big hit. And also the Ushabtis blasting away some of these Beastmen infantry. Summoned Ushabti has been activated. But here comes the retreat. Reposition Sandigos earlier, now having their barrier fully regenerated, jumping in and just immediately slapping those Ushabtis from 100% health to half health in in a matter of seconds. Flock of Doom once again draining down the health of the Tomb God. This time they are being targeted by the Eye of Morslave, just freely sitting back, freely firing, earning by 1,500 gold worth of damage value, getting some really solid work done. Archers on Go Raiders continues to shoot at the Ushabti with great bows, the chosen of the gods to be more specific here, and they'll probably won't be long for this world here. Gorble though being Spirit Leech to death. One Gorble is down, so one more to go though, and the Beastmen are slowly getting ahead on balance of power. But the Tomb Kings just stand their ground, unwaveringly stand their ground. Whatever Beastmen units comes in that tries to push them back, the skeletons hold alongside their Tomb Gods. So yeah, for now, the Tomb Kings are still holding their ground, still having the ability to just keep dropping Spirit Leeches and whatnot. And summon Ushabtis here will try to protect this Necro Sphinx. Nope, never mind. The summon Ushabti is down. And Arkan the Black will quickly retreat back behind the protection of his own lines. No, he has been caught by some of the Zangors. Another Flock of Doom from Arkan the Black, really draining down the health of all these skeleton infantry, thinning out that infantry support for the Beastmen for the Tomb Kings in the late game. But the problem is, can they drag it into the late game where the lack of infantry support matters? Sandigos of Tinge really trying hard to finish off Arkan the Black here, but unfortunately the Ushabti's firepower is just too much for them. They almost managed to kill Arkan the Black, but the skeleton spears nearby, and the Ushabti just keep peppering them with massive missiles, and also the Necro Sphinx nearby terrifying some of these Sandigos, allowing Arkan to get once again back to safety. And the Tomb Kings and the Beastmen don't really have any single entity way to kill things, to target single entities like Arkan the Black. Although Gorble though getting quite busy hacking down Necro Sphinx. I guess Gorble is the one great option to kill Arkan, but Arkan can always just run through his own friendly infantry, so... Oh, looks like Malagor is going in, trying to get that Lord Snipe, and gets a big hit onto Arkan the Black, who is now stuck in the melee against Malagor, who has the benefit of the charge bonus. Now the Gorble is extracting himself from the engagement here, pushing through skeletons. Can he get to Arkan? I don't think it matters anymore, because Arkan is fading away from the leadership issues. But no, halberds are coming in, trying to protect his flank and give him a little bit of that leadership race bite. But nope, Beastmen are not holding back right now. Gorble really trying to get to Arkan the Black, and Arkan has faded away due to crumbling, and that is going to be a big problem for the Tomb Kings here due to leadership issues. Not that the Tomb Gods have too much of leadership issues, but the skeletons do. Though in the process of trying to go after Arkan, the Gorble is downed by the Ushabti here. So that is a problem for sure. Now that the Beastmen no longer have any single entity killing power, how are they gonna finish off the Necro Sphinx and all these Tomb God support? Does Malagor have any more Flock of Dooms in his back pocket? And if he does, how many more Flock of Dooms can he still cast? That is a real question here. There's still one more Ushabti with Great Bowls. The other one has been finished off by the arrows, I suppose. But yeah, The Isle of Morslave is not going to be a match against the Necro Sphinx in melee combat. 54 attack is not bad, actually. 32 melee defense, still questionable. And still very solid armor-piercing weapon strength. Oh, the Flock of Dooms are coming in! Tomb Kings are trying to tighten up their formation, preventing enemy from having the opportunity to sneak inside their box and hit up the Ushabti Great Bows here. While Ushabti Great Bows trying their best to dish out as much pain as possible from afar. And the Tomb Kings are holding strong. A lot of their infantry are damaged, but most of their infantry that remains are halberds. Warp Gaze, the special ability of Isle of Morslave can pin down enemy targets here, pinning down the Necro Sphinx, and the Necro Sphinx attack animation carrying it deeper into enemy formations, and that means he's surrounded by spears, shot by archers, and on top of the Isle of Morslave and Malagor, trying really hard to come in for that Lord Snipe. Tomb Kings are responding to that by piling in all those halberds, but that makes them exceptionally vulnerable to these Flock of Dooms, taking some noticeable losses from those Flock of Dooms. 2,200 gold on Malagor in terms of damage value, and remember, most of that comes from Flock of Dooms. It is really a matter of Flock of Dooms. How many more can... Oh, yeah. And remember, the Beastmen cannot use these Santigos here, so the balance of power is inflated right now. So, yeah, Tomb Kings might actually be able to win this one, having the ability. Yeah, Russell is playing very well considering he has to play with over 1k deficit. Yeah, indeed. Like, it is still very, very close. Like, Tomb King still like, the Beastmen still have a chance in this, but unfortunately, I think without the 1k gold worth of units, that is probably gonna be it here, as the Isle of Morslave is going down. They managed to take down the Necro Sphinx though. The problem is, can the Flock of Dooms... Will the Flock of Dooms be enough to take down all these infantry? Like, Malagor is, like, balance of power wise still is advantageous for the Beastmen here, but that's only because of that that knocked out Sandigors. In a normal battle, I think that would be it for Malagor. Yeah, I guess Malagor can still try to Flock of Doom. Non-overcast Flock of Doom makes me think that Beastmen are probably out of wins. Yeah, that's probably it. Or maybe because they don't want to take more damage on Malagor, but yeah. Either ways, that is probably going to be it. As Malagor, I don't think the Beastman has any way to wrestle this capture point from the Beastman army here. And Malagor surrounded by Ushabtis and spears. He's just taking more and more damage in melee, and that's probably going to be it here. There are still some Ungor spears, but that's about it. Yeah. If Malagor can flock them to army losses, he can win, but if he routes, it's over. Yeah, and there are more Flock of Dooms coming in, and I assume Ash would not give him more of these opportunities to get all these Flock of Dooms out. But one of the Tomb Gods is going down. Malagor is also fighting some crumbling spears and Ushabtis, and if more Ushabtis and spears crumbles, then maybe this will still be hopeful for the Beastman here. No, it seems like Malagor is going down, surrounded by melee combatants. He is just a little bit too fragile to hold on. Yeah, takes another hit, and he's not taking a lot of shock damage since these are just skeleton spears. He might need a Flock of Doom to help himself out of this situation. Because right now these skeletons and all, like, you can see Ash has taken the preventative measure against more Flock of Dooms, scattering all his units around the capture point. So even if Malagor casts another Flock of Doom, he can't just catch multiple units at once. And yeah, Malagor has routed. And that shall be GG. Very well played from both players here. Very patient cycle charging from the Beastman side here. I especially like the use of Isle of Morslave. Haven't seen this monster for ages, and it seems like it did make an impact in this battle. And Malagor as well, getting some really solid damage with the Flock of Dooms against the enemy tight boxing. The problem is that, unfortunately, they did bring an additional unit of Zandagors here. I don't think it would make too much of a difference, with the two units having a rather mediocre performance in this battle, most of the damage was done by the Eye of More Sleep. The boxing tactic really does come out quite well against the enemy. Against the enemy mobility and missiles here. Just box up and just allow the Ushaptis to do all the damage. 2,400 gold on this one and 1,000, almost 500 gold on this one as well. Not a lot of damage from the Sepulchral Stalkers, but the Ushaptis basically shot up the Gorbel and helping the Necrosphinx out as well. And then the infantry just stood there until the Beastmen are no more, as they just clash onto the pointy sticks again and again and just keep dying to the shield wall and spear wall. GG to both players, and we are going into the third and final battle. It's gonna be a 1v1. And yeah. Let me just save this replay. Probably won't be rewatching this one, but I just save it regardless. Alright, one final battle between Beastmen and Tomb Kings. We shall see what happens here. While we very unfortunate to forget that marked Santi limit in the Marlagor match. Now he has to win with the weaker lords. Indeed. I guess he can try Bray Shaman. Yeah, I guess a Bray Shaman might be a viable option here, actually. Just a greater Bray Shaman as a lord, especially with Traderkin and whatnot. Because essentially that's just Malagor. Yeah, that's basically Malagor, right? Just a caster that you can't catch, or at least harder to catch. But yeah, anyways, let's just cover the rest of the. Let's just cover a bit more of the patch notes here. Khorne going with all Juggernaut units have a little bit more speed, making Juggernaut a bit more viable, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know if a speed buff. I guess 70 speed isn't too bad for a Juggernaut. Like, isn't too much for a Juggernaut. And the Skull Crushers of Khorne. Skull Crushers of Khorne. Oh wait, that's only single player recruitment cost. Never mind then. That doesn't really matter. We don't really care about single. We don't care about upkeep costs or single player recruitment costs. Blood Reaper with a Juggernaut. Blood Reaper with Juggernaut of Khorne having increased melee stats. Okay, so the Juggernaut of Khorne, Blood Reaper, and Herald have better melee stats, but I don't think that matters too much. Upkeep cost doesn't matter. Recruitment single player cost and upkeep cost doesn't matter either. So yeah, not much for Khorne actually. Only a bit of speed buff to Juggernauts and that's it. As for the Kislevites, more armor for the Druzina. I don't think it matters. Nobody really cares about the Druzina. It's not exactly a great lot choice. Golden Knight Nariska, a little bit cheaper. Probably is still gonna. It's still not fundamentally changing anything, and more armor overall to all these Kislevite mounted characters. 10 armor, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference anyway, so it's fine. Kislev, but unfortunately, I'm quite disappointed not to see a nerf to Bara Blood or just trying to balance the Kislevite roster, making them a little bit less ridiculous with their cavalry and stuff. Because right now, yeah, Kislev will still probably be dominating in the multiplayer scene, being a very powerful hybrid roster. Yeah, with Unbreakable Chaff. Norska buff to Marauders, a little bit more charge bonus and speed. That's still not going to change anything. And Chaos Warriors of... I want to use Berserkers for North when I play Norska. I really want to, but like aggressive infantry, that is they're a decently they're not a cheap infantry, but they die so fast. Like they can't even get enough damage done before they die usually. That's usually what happens. So normally it's just hard to bring them. I guess with a little bit more run speed, it will give them a bit more ways to, giving them a little bit more leverage to pressure the enemy backline and whatnot. But even so, I don't see The Berserks run like Skaven now, which is nice and all, but I don't know. I don't think that little speed buff will give them enough impact, because if you want speed, if you want fast units to give the pressure enemy backline or chase enemy units off, you rather just go for Norscan Warhounds and Ice Wolves. I wouldn't really go for Marauder Berserkers unless I really want to go for a super wide front line. Then that's a whole different thing. But as Norsca, you rarely need to go super wide as front line, because the flanks are usually covered by Skin Wolves and Ice Wolves and Warhounds. You don't really need your front line to be that wide. Might as well just spend more money on Skin Wolves at that point. So yeah, I feel like it's not a lot of changes to the patch in general. Nurgle, more melee attack with the Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Ooh, this is nice. Giving Nurgle a bit more offensive power, but again, nothing too insane. Ogre Kingdoms, they have Wall Breaking now with Lab Boucher's shots, but their regular Ogre units cannot beat the walls with their melee. So, on the CA forum, into the topic of balancing multiplayer, it was written that the previous speed increase was too small to have an impact. Oh, this is why the speed increase is needed again. Okay, that makes sense. They're just addressing some previous issues they made. Speed is important for offensive infantry, since you want to minimize the time getting shot. If it ultimately doesn't change much, they're now better in scenarios they were good already. Yeah, in terms of like melee engagement, it doesn't change anything, but you did raise a good point here. They can get to the enemies faster, so they spend less time getting shot, but either ways, they're still quite an expensive infantry that is very fragile. Their issue is the formation on Ultra. Oh, because they're alright, because they have loose formation, so a lot of their units, they're just kind of like spread across the area, and instead of making contact with the enemy models. That makes sense. Ogre Infantry, everything got their Wall Breaker trait removed, and then, or most things at least. Yeah, Hunter, Tyrant got a cost reduction, so we might be able to see more Tyrant and I don't know about the Tyrant. Like, now that the Paymaster is here, I don't really feel like using the Tyrant at all. Tyrant is like a good beast stick character that heals himself, so you don't need to bring a healer for him. But the problem is that he doesn't offer much else to the rest of the army. Like, a Paymaster is really nice in terms of all the melee buffs he provides and stat debuffs provides to the army. And he actually is impactful to the rest of the army in that way, and he is also decentish in melee as well. The Tyrant doesn't offer any of that. He's just there to tank. He's just to be there to be a single entity and to be the Lord. So I don't really see myself taking a Tyrant even with the cost reduction. I would just rather go for a Paymaster with all the melee attack buffs available to him. Nobbler single entity cost change doesn't matter. Ogre Bulls doesn't matter. Giant doesn't matter. Missile resistance of the Stonehorns and Stonehorn Harpoon Launcher from 20 to 25%, basically matching the Thunder Tusk now. But I already talked about the Thunder Tusk being better than Stonehorn issue, especially better than Stonehorn Harpoon Launcher issue. I won't talk about it here anymore. If anyone is interested, feel free to go and check out the Thunder Tusk video I made previously. I can see Stonehorn still having a place on multiplayer, but Stonehorn Harpoon Launcher is still being 2,100 gold versus the 2,250 of the Thunder Tusk. There's no reason to go for Harpoon Launcher over the Thunder Tusk when the Thunder Tusk is just 150 gold more, but you're getting more melee stats, more HP, more missile damage with the artillery shot, the snowball. So yeah, I guess the regular Stonehorn still have a place, being 450 gold cheaper than the Thunder Tusk, and still having great splash damage. Wait, hold on. Yeah, having great collision attacks and all that, but it's justifiable to bring a Stonehorn and then bring a couple of Nobblers or a Stonehorn and a Blood Vulture over a Thunder Tusk, because you can sometimes use those extra bodies. But yeah, just a 50 150 gold difference between a harpoon launcher and a thunder tusk. That makes no sense, especially when the thunder tusk covers the same missile attack as a stonehorn harpoon launcher, and then on top of that you have the javelin and the artillery snowball. Yeah. Anyways, we are on the battlefield. Beastmen versus Tomb Kings. One final match. Zangors in the front line for Beastmen. Second line of Ungor Raiders. And more Beastmen. Goreherds and Goreherds on the flanks. Just going super wide this time. With, once again, double Gore Bulls and one single Gorgon. Leading the army is a Vanguard deployed Great Brave Shaman of Wild Magic with Traitorkin and Traitorkin only. There's actually a Square of Shielding here, which is nice to mitigate some incoming damage in a key engagement. On the other side, for the Tomb Kings, a bunch of Skeleton Horse Archers and a front line of Spears. One of them, the Kingneck Hatch Scorpion Legion, Ushaptis, and some Skeleton Spears at the back there. One single Tomb Gods with Halberds. Double Necrosphinx. Oof. That's a lot of single entity fighting power. And, yeah. Wait, hold on. I think I banned... Okay, I don't think I banned... Yeah, okay. There's only 2 Necrosphinx, so yeah, that's fine. There's no third War Sphinx on the field, so it's fine. Ushaptis on the field here, 2 units of them, in fact, and that should be a great counter to the enemy Goreherd. And Zangor's Skeleton Horse Archers are kiting away at the enemy Goreherds, who do not have shields. These are the regular Goreherds, so they're great against infantry, but they do not have any protection against missiles, other than their sheer numbers, I guess, and loose formation. Skeleton Horse Archers, Skeleton Horsemen, and this time, Grand Hierophant Katep. So, spell casting denial here. Double Gorbel going after the Necrosphinx, but the second Necrosphinx is coming in. And also the Necrosphinx plus Skeleton are chipping away the health of the double Gorbel. But here, the Gorgon is nearby. He might get over here and start working on the double Necrosphinx and do some good work here. Anyways, the Goreherds, Zangorherds are getting piled on, dumped on by the Skeleton Spears and Ushaptis, while the Ungor Raiders are pushing up, trying to push back the enemy Skeleton Horsemen. Horse Archers here. And yeah, Necrosphinx though trying to double team the Gorbot, but getting a little bit ahead of themselves and getting hit by a Traitorkin. A Root Sandstorm coming in from Hierophant Katep here, blasting away some Zangors, doing some good damage, but unfortunately just kind of going around the Ungor Raiders here. Quite unfortunate for the Tomb Kings. And the Necrosphinxes also took quite some damage from the enemy single entity plus Archer firepower. The Gorgon here is slamming in, and the Necrosphinx is getting a dent on their HP bar. So the Ushaptis, Spears, and Halberds are all piling in, trying to deal with this triple single entity pile in on the Beastman side. And the Gorbel surround, double teamed by the Sphinxes, taking a ton of damage, down to half health already in a matter of seconds. The Tomb Gods though getting slapped pretty hard, as the Gorgon getting some nice collision attacks in the process, and I assume the Gorbel as well. So this unit of Tomb Guards definitely not enjoying their time. But yeah, the double Sphinxes are putting a dent on the HP of the Gorgon here, while the Tomb Kings are overall winning the front line, driving into the back of those Ungor Raiders, while the Zangors trying desperately to screen off the enemy Horse Archers here. But I don't think the Horse Archers is the main concern here when your single entities are getting hacked down to bits. The Gorgon is trying desperately to get the hell out of there, and I assume the Great Brave Shaman is still charging up his next Traitorkin. Yep, the Traitorkin coming in, but cast onto the Skeleton Spear. That means... Oh wait, never mind. It's too late now. The Sphinx have been hit by the Traitorkin. It's a regular cast. Yeah, it's draining a health of the remaining Necrosphinx here. But ooh, big mistake though from the Tomb Kings. Hierophant Katep is left unprotected, being now ganged up on by the double Gorbel and one Gorgon. That's a lot of Gores on the field here. Gorbel, Gorgon, Gores, Zangors. Anyways, double Sphinxes are here to save their Liege Lord. Same goes for the Skeleton Horse Archers. Oh, Skeleton Horsemen, I mean, yeah. Horse Archers are here though, and start still firing and chipping away the health of Gorgon, and finishing it off with the help of the double Necrosphinxes. And yeah, it seems like the Zangors now going back to screen of these Skeleton Horse Archers, trying desperately to do so. But yeah, now the Great Brave Shaman of Wild on the Tuskor Chariot is going after the Great Hierophant Katep. But yeah, Great Hierophant Katep though, casting a spell onto himself, Nairu's Incantation of Protection to keep himself alive. being forced to fight an enemy character. The double Gorbel is remaining, being the only anti-single entity fighting power on the Beastman side. They are almost finishing off the Necrosphinx, but they themselves are surrounded by skeleton horsemen and halberds and spears, so they are not long for this world either. And on top of that, Necrosphinx, there's another still surviving Necrosphinx beating down the remaining Gorbels. Now the skeleton horse archers are being screened back, but alas, I don't think that I suspect that is not going to matter here. One Gorbel has been finished off, the other is also on the verge of routing, and if they rout, I don't think the Beastmen will allow them to come back with the skeleton horsemen still on the field. Oh, actually, the Great Brave Shaman of Wild is going after Greyhound and Katap, so instead of going after the Gorbel, the horsemen are trying to save their Lich Lord, to be more exact. But yeah, another trader kit here, draining down the health of the Necrosphinx down to the last 800 HP, but that doesn't matter for the Gorbel, he's almost dead anyways. Some regrouped Goreherds are trying to come back and help, but it's all infantry now for, it's all that's left infantry now for the Beastmen. And I don't think they have enough to bring this one back. Naru's Incantation of Protection once again on the Hierophant Katap here, just keeping him alive, being forced to fight the Great Brave Shaman of Wild, and also casting more spells to activate his Lich Staff. Well, he did not bring his Lich Staff, so there's no cooldown reduction against, no cooldown increase for the enemies. Alright, that is quite an interesting choice, not that it matters, I think. As you can see, the Beastmen are faltering pretty hard. There's all that's left are infantry for them, and that means they can't really fight through those Ushabtis who are still surviving pretty well. And I feel like the Ushabti plus skeleton combo is just a very common combo these days. I don't know if there's anything changed in the meta like previously, but seems like Ushabti and skeleton frontline is a more impactful combo than before. Like, I have not seen an Ushabti frontline for a long time until like patch 5.6, 5.7 came back. So yeah, I feel like there must be something changing the Ushabtis or something. I don't know, but yeah, or maybe people just discovering that Ushabti and skeleton are just a really good frontline to crush the enemy frontline. I don't know. But yeah, Gorbel is remaining, but only less than 300 HP. He's not gonna be meta at all. Great Brave Shaman of Wild still trying to hunt down Arvan Katap there, but here comes Skeleton Horse Archers who have used up all their ammo kiting enemy units. Now double down as a melee unit to screen enemy characters. The Beastmen are getting more victory tickets, but I don't think that matters as the Tomb Gods and the Scorpion Legion swarm this capture point with some Ushabti as well. And that's going to be army losses. Current is just something you take when you want a Fire Belly, though the AoE nuke he has is decent. Yeah, basically, but the AoE nuke he has is, I think, has a limited time of use. So like you can only use it like 3 times or something, so you can't. It's not great. Yeah. But now you don't have to take a Tyrant even if you want a Fire Belly or any other caster character. Because you can actually take a Paymaster that adds a lot of really fun melee attack buffs to your army to synergize with other units, which is good. Yeah. Like, I really like CA in this patch introducing all those melee buffs and debuffs. Like, it is more fun than using damaging abilities or healing. Because you're not like doing the work for the unit, you're helping the units do their work. Like, doing the damage directly, you're not seeing your units making an impact. You're seeing your lord making an impact, but not your units. But if you're stacking attack buffs and whatnot, you're actually helping your units to be better. You're helping them make a difference in battle. You can see those units actually doing shit, which is why I love unit buff stacking and debuff stacking, because it emphasizes more on the units than the heroes in the battle. But and yeah, like all the attack buffs available with Gorbad, with the Paymaster, with the Blood Speaker are all like really solid changes to this to the Omens of Destruction, and I really like this kind of approach they take to DLC characters. Makes it more fun to experiment with armies, play with trying different ability combos and whatnot. Like, I mean, I've been doing a lot of army builds videos for a long time, but then I think I did way less in Warhammer 3, just because I kind of dug through a bunch of abilities already, and I'm running out of ideas. But now it's like, shit, with all these new combos available, I got new ideas. But yeah, it's really fun to just try out different unit combos, and I am. And with the new units and whatnot, and actually, you know what? We can leave that for later. Let's just check out the army performances here. Traderkins did great, but the double Gore Bull is quite disappointing, unfortunately. They are not cheap either, and the Gorgon did alright as well. The problem is that it's just Necrosphinx did great, and then yeah, they just can't trade it well into the Necrosphinx, I guess, and there are some horse archers that finish off the Gorgon, who doesn't have the most armor to tank enemy missiles, while despite having the healing in melee. While the Necrosphinx have more than enough armor to just eat a bunch of archer fire and still shrug those off. And Dangors in the front line here, not doing a whole lot. Same goes for the Gorehords, as they were going up against a Skeleton and Ushapti combo front line. You can see the Ushapti doing spectacularly, having the armor to tank the enemy melee attacks and dish out pain with their armor-piercing anti-infantry. And yeah, very nicely played from both players here, and congratulations to Ash for emerging on top in this best of 3 scenario here, getting a victory with the Tomb Kings, really sealing, how do we call it? Really, solidifying, really solidifying the top of the meta position of Tomb Kings in patch 5.7. Gonna hope that the new Khorne units will be the answer to Tomb Kings, since right now it's so unfavored to Khorne. I think you will be disappointed, because so what I think about Khorne in the DLC is that they might have been the faction that got the shaft in this DLC. I'm not saying that the content they're receiving is bad. What I mean is that their unit feels underwhelming in the DLC. The units they're getting, a lot of them, I can't really switch to the new patch right now, but the units they're getting, okay, so the Skull Reaper, the Wrathmongers, both are anti-infantry melee combatants. The Wrathmongers is more elite, somewhat like a Doom Seeker of the Khorne army. 32 models and anti-infantry armor piercing. They have instead of axes on chains, they have hammers on chains. Yeah, so they're not great. Like, they can kill infantry, but they're not answers to any single entities or constructs or big monsters. And as an infantry, they are like infantry. They are not that impactful in battle overall. I sense some use for Wrathmongers could counter Ushapti. I guess, but they're also very fragile, so they are just gonna get peppered with archers to death. They have 80 armor, so it's nothing, I guess. But it's not nothing, I guess, but still. But yeah, I haven't really gotten the chance to try out the characters here, but I think Skull Taker has some use, because he is a pretty good melee buff combined with his Blood Bike. And also he has an interesting item. His sword has a weaken effect, which reduces... It's a contact effect that reduces weapon strength by 25%. So technically you can use it to neuter the enemy unit's damage output, which is pretty nice. And also Blood Bite plus his ability is a combination of plus 16 melee attack, which is also nice. Blood Speaker is also good, I think. He can heal Khorne units. He is capable of healing Khorne units, so sometimes you might want to give your units a little bit more HP to stay in combat. That would be helpful. And he has a bunch of unbreakable and not dying buffs, so like he can imbue above the Wild Abandon, plus 40 melee attack, minus 24 attack, and the unit cannot die, which is actually really solid in my opinion, because he also because the Blood Speaker can also turn units unbreakable, one with his ability and one with a vial of troll blood, which is his item, so he can turn 2 units unbreakable at the same time, theoretically. he feels really. I think he would be a really good addition to the Khorne army. Just adding more tools to the Khorne roster. Just instead of trying to like fight it out without support, he is actually like Khorne is an Unga Bunga faction. The units usually just fight their way to victory, but because of that, their whole roster feels a bit monotone. They lack a lot of. They don't have a lot of tools to like. The units can fight, but there's nothing to support them because they're so magic. But the Blood Speaker, he is the support that Khorne needs. Or, well, at least they deserve, I guess. I don't know if I don't know if that's enough, but that's definitely a good addition to Khorne, to make them more viable. There's more things to help Khorne out instead of the units fighting on their own. Like all they have for buffs is really pretty much just Horn of Khorne, their second tier army ability making them too angry to die. What else? Nothing. They don't have anything else. I mean, I guess the blood Herald of Khorne and his blood bike, I guess. But nothing else. But Blood Speaker, he has the melee attack buffs, he has the healing, he has Unbreakable, making Khorne units better than before, helping them fighting to death. I think the Skull Reaper, I mean, not Skull Reaper, I think the Skull... Wait, hold on. I think the Skull Cannon RL is definitely overtuned, able to delete units from afar, but otherwise, like, Blood Speaker is a good addition. But the other stuff, I think, is just meh. I mean, Khorne Gores is decent. Their Unbreakable feels nice to use, but sometimes it activates in a weird timing, so it just locks in. Like, it's possible the Unbreakable get activated at the same time Khorne Gore getting Terror Outed. So that might be a bit of a drawback, but the Unbreakable feels nice sometimes to just help the Khorne Gores fight a bit longer, and they do need that kind of a relatively cheap anti-large armor piercing, so that's a good addition. But the two monster units of Blood Beast of Khorne, it's very underwhelming, and Slaughter Brood, you've seen Human Boy testing it sucks. So there's that. But yeah. But overall, I feel like I feel like Khorne really have gotten the shaft in this edition, as they don't really have a game-changing unit in other than the Skull Cannon in the patch. Also, their legendary heroes kind of sucked as well, so I haven't had a chance to use it a lot. But Gryla, that I played against Daff and Daff plays, did use that for once, and it sucked. It sucked. Khorne can get Leadership Bomb with Blood Speaker, Skyla, and Scar. Dude, you're using 3 expensive characters to use it to perform a Leadership Bomb. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it when 2 of them are very expensive. That's like Skyla and Scar probably gonna cost you 4,000 gold. Can you afford that? Just for a Leadership Bomb, I don't think that's worth it, dude. I don't think it's worth it. Like, theoretically, it works, but practically, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I don't think it's worth. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Anyways, go back to the Beastman versus Tomb King first battle, where I embarrassingly missed out half of it because of yeah. Embarrassingly, I missed out because I tried to squeeze in a bit more patch notes coverage. So, Beastman versus Tomb King's Rusto versus Ash in the first battle here. I'm not gonna cover. I mean, let's cover the army builds again. Front line of Zangor, second line of Angor Raiders, third line of Razor Gore Herds, and then double cows this time, Gorbel and Taurox, Jabberslave and Brashima of Wild, some Spear Angors. On the other side for the Tomb Kings, Setra the Imperishable on his kitty cat, and then there's a regular Necrosphinx somewhere. Yeah, there. And then a front line of Skeleton Warriors, backed up by a bunch of Necro Horsemen, Skeleton Horsemen, Chosen of the Gods, and a Necropolis Knight, Necro Horsemen, more Skeleton Warriors, no Tomb Gods this time. And yeah, Angos Spears, and yeah, I think that's about it, yeah. Cetra trying to do some cheeky charge onto the Zangors, but diving a little bit too deep, and he's also slowed down by the Traderkin. 25% speed debuff, down to 51 speed. That is just slightly faster than infantry, and definitely not fast enough to escape the grasp of the double cow. Cetra is trying to jump through the enemy infantry and maybe get some support. No, he's trying to go after the Zangors here due to the attack order, and that puts him behind enemy lines. And now there's 2 angry cows between him and his front line, unable to retreat back. Now the Necrosphinx is coming in to help, but Cetra did get charged by the 2 very powerful angry cows. One of them having brass body to mitigate incoming damage and just tank hits from the Necrosphinx. The other just keeps hacking. Yeah, the 2 angry cows are just keep hacking down Cetra. On top of that, Archer Fire just whittles him down. Other than that here, Zangors are piling in on the front line. The Necropolis Knights yeah, forced to fight Razor Gore Herds and getting shot by archers. Over here, Jabber's Life here, getting chased, getting hunted down by another unit of Necropolis Knights with halberds. While Cetra diving even deeper into the enemy archer line. Oh no! Big mistakes in terms of tactics here, driving deeper and deeper into enemy territory. And that isolates Cetra from his infantry support. So the double cows just keep pushing him into enemy, pushing deeper and deeper into the forest, and Cetra is fighting with the penalty of the terrain. And there's some Zangors at the back there. Not that they matters, but it's nice for them to just screen off the enemy skeleton horses as well, just to keep them away from this double cow versus double cat engagement. And it seems like the double cow is winning. Cetra does not have anti-large, unlike the Necrosphinx here. Unlike the Necrosphinx here, and unlike the Necrosphinx in the 3rd game. On the far side though, the second unit of Necropolis Knights with halberds managed to push back the Jabber's Life, and this might be the mistake where the halberd Necropolis Knights have been forgotten all the way till they run the Jabber's Life off the map or something. Because right now, they're just not going to come back to help out Cetra, and Cetra really needs the help of cavalry right now. I guess he's jumping into the Necropolis Knights, and he's still alive. But it is a matter of some Traderkins and a couple axe hits from the double cows, and that would be enough to finish off Cetra. Anyways, it seems that the Necrosphinx is a little bit too busy here fighting infantry, which is fine for the Beastmen, while the double cow continues to hound Cetra. The Necropolis Knights are coming in trying to screen those double cows away, but not a lot of units have enough mass, just like the skeletons just being plowed through by the double cows. And yeah, Cetra is getting out of there. He's getting out alive, and the double cows are still stuck in the middle of a bunch of enemy infantry and some Necropolis Knights. Those Necropolis Knights really need to get and surround onto the double cows, and Cetra is trying to get away, which works out. I guess he stays alive, but here comes a Traderkin. Oh, a Traderkin with 10 seconds, and he should survive that Traderkin. The problem is there's a bunch more of a hazard vectors, like these guys. Cetra is charging into the Zangors. Oh, here comes the Razor Gores, and yeah. Oh, and some friendly fire from the Ushaptis too. Shooting into the vicinity, probably hitting up Cetra here and there. Never mind, the Razor Gores managed to surround the Cetra, and a little bit of friendly fire. Yeah, some friendly fire on Cetra, and the Ushapti killed Cetra. Set times for to be a Tomb King Lord. Pushing deeper and deeper. Yeah, let's not go into the Slanesh territory here. Anyways, Necrosphinx here, now up against double cows, and seems like the Tomb Kings really forgot those Necropolis Knights on the far side. Keeping the Jabber's Life away is definitely good, but unfortunately, the Necrosphinx need those double Necropolis Knights way more than keeping the Jabber's Life off the fields. Because the Necropolis Knights, if they were here and help all the Necrosphinx, they could have probably sniped out one of the angry cows. But instead, there are only some Necropolis Knights, tattered ones as well, too distracted by some Angors to fight the double cows. So yeah, I think we've basically seen the rest of the battle at this point here. Double cows managed to just keep winning against the Necropolis Knights here, having that solid anti-large fighting power, armor piercing, most importantly armor piercing to hack through the construct's armor, and then Traderkins to drain away the health of some blobbed up Tomb King's units. Now here comes the healthy unit of halberds of Necropolis Knights coming in, but that's not gonna matter much, as they are just gonna get beaten up slowly but surely, and drained down by the double cows as well. Yeah, that shall be GG. Good old friendly fire. Yeah, it's really funny when it is actually the Shaptis finishing off Cetra instead of anything from the Beastmen. I mean, there was the Razor Gore charging Cetra there, but let's just chalk it up to the Shaptis. That would be funnier. That's funnier. But yeah. I agree with it being super expensive, but I would feel it would be great versus Skaven. Having single entities that aren't that big ass giant causing leadership debuffs could be good, and Explosion Rampage feels good. Ooh, actually, you're right. I should test it against Skavens. Or if you test it against Skavens, send a replay to me. I would love to see it. Like, if you can make a weird, funny meme army build, I'm happy to make a meme army video for you, for your army build. Like, of course, it would be great if you can send me multiple replays of the army build, so that I can put in a little bit more analysis on the army build instead of the usual battle replay. But it'll be really fun to see some weird army builds out of this patch, because I'm working on like a Yeti army build right now, and it's been working out decently, so I'll probably make a video about it soon. Like, it's not a powerful build or anything. It's just decent and funny. It's just a funny build, okay, that I like to use. But yeah, anyways, that is gonna be it for the live battle section. We're going into the replay casting. Actually, let's go through the patch notes first. We still have quite a bit to go through. I think ogres would definitely be a strong faction in this patch. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like they got nerfed a bit. They got nerfed quite a bit from the new army ability. Because now you actually have to charge with ogre units to recharge the army ability, and the system's definition of charging is a bit weird, so it is open to exploitation, I think, from some of the conversation in the among content creators. But overall, you need to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more like yeah, you need to be a lot more aggressive from the ogres to make use of the army ability. I can't box anymore with the ogres. I can't just sit back and let the opponents come to me. Instead I need to actually send my units into melee to attack them. So if I just keep a bunch of nobblers around standing and shooting with their trapper projectile, I will be losing out on the army ability because I'm not charging, I'm not attacking. And it also takes quite a bit to charge up. So yeah, I feel like I will have to play more aggressively as the ogres, but the ogre units in the DLC feels really, really fun to play with. The Yetis, I love them because they add so much speed debuff. Like they are a unit that adds a lot of debuffs around, and just they have, just like the green skin melee buffs and debuffs, you have more ways to play around with it, with other combinations of abilities and whatnot. Especially with the Paymaster, so I really dig that unit. Other than that, we have the Thunder Test. We talked about it, and I talked about it in the previous unit focus video, so you guys can check that out. Ashen Maneater, I love that unit. The design of that unit is top notch. It is the weep. They just made a unit for your average anime fan. I mean, I'm an anime fan too, but I'm more of the skinny type. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, he's a really fun unit. Like, great animation. The voice lines are really fun, and the abilities he have, and yeah, the abilities he have is also really unique on the ogre roster. Just quite bizarre and unique, and it's just really fun to play around with as well. Unfortunately, you can only bring one of them. I would love to see the chance to bring a few more in battles or even in campaign, but it is what it is, so we'll deal with that. But yeah, it's just really fun to play around with the Ashen Maneater. I love it, and I'll try to make a unit focus video about it later, but yeah, that's what I am hoping to do at least. Other than that, we have, what else? Blood Vulture, a great addition to the Ogre Kingdoms, just filling up the gap in their roster. giving them that flying mobility to disrupt enemy artillery or to screen off enemy skirmishers, like freaking gun bats. Like ogres never had the tools to deal with gun bats before. Now they do, with the blood vultures, and also pigback riders. Another super fun unit. I really love their. It's funny because I get you guys have seen the video. You guys probably have seen the video about when I used pigback riders against Dav, who was playing as Bretonnians with a bunch of Pegasus Knights. And somehow those piggyback knights managed to win the jousting. It's super fun. Like, especially when you give them some melee stat support, like the Paymaster or the Yetis, they can absolutely trade upwards into battle. How are the greenskin crossbow infantry RL? I haven't used them that much yet, but they seem to be decent. Like, nothing too out of this world. They have decent armor and decent melee stats, so even if you charge them with light cavalry, they can probably hold their own. But nothing out of this world, because after all, they're still just a crossbow. So I need to see the new army abilities in action. The heal is either broken or laughably bad. The heal is actually pretty strong. It's like 40% of HP heal. Yeah, it can heal 40% of HP. It's just that it's harder to charge up these days because you need to charge enemies to charge army abilities. You should watch Okoi's Pickback Doomstack video. I've already watched it. It's the one thing I enjoy his video the most is just all the names he come up with the units. Just funny. The Timu Knights. I think that's what he called it. Timu Knights. Anyways, it's yeah, I definitely watch it, and it's also one of the inspirations for me to make like weird meme music videos for the like. Sometimes you see me just dropping shorts, YouTube shorts, splicing a bunch of combat footage with stuff like Sabaton and whatnot, and that's basically partly inspired by Okoi to do that. And yeah, I mean those gave me a lot of view counts, but I don't think it gives me any of the long form content audience, but it's just fun to make. From what Human Boy said, the Ogre army ability is not supposed to function like it did in the release version you played. It's supposed to be army wide healed. No. So what? Okay. So basically, I think Human Boy might have misunderstood the army ability. I've seen that video, of him talking about the army ability, but I think that's just a wording mistake on CA side. Cause normally, okay, I'm just gonna. I can't really show any. Okay, never mind. Cause I can't really switch the I can't switch the version right now, so I can't really show you anything. But if you open up Human Boy's video and go to the army ability section where you can see the description of the army ability, you can see that the Ogre healing the Butcher ability. Okay, I guess I can just load into the Ogre army screen. It would be the same thing, really. Okay, let me just quickly do that. If you look at the army heal ability, it's the same. The Butcher is the same as before. You can see there is a range. There's a range. There is a duration, and there's the cooldown stats. And then there's the line where it says heal units all. But that doesn't actually matter. You can see it's the same thing here. Range, unlimited, duration, cooldown. It's the same, like, this unit card, it's pretty much the same in the first few lines there in terms of range, duration, and cooldown. And the only thing different is that the effect unit allies in range max, it's not max 1, it's just all. But if we look at an actual AoE spell, like the Curse of Onra Air, you can see there is a range, there is the effect range, duration, and cooldown. Now, the affected units here describes stuff that is being affected within the effect range. You can see the affected units affect enemies in range all. So, the effect range, like for AoE spells, you always see this effect range in the spell description. In the ability description. Wait, I know the description in the skill refers to range, but Human Boy asked CA about it, and it's supposed to affect every unit? Wait, hold on. I don't think it makes sense as an army-wide ability, because that would be absolutely broken. I think what makes more sense... Because you can't just heal everything by 40%. What the fuck? No way, that's... There's no way it makes sense. Anyways, if that appears in my tournament, I'll probably have to ban that shit. Because fuck no. That's too much. Like... Yeah. The affected units, I suppose, is just more like it affects any kind of units within the range. With I honestly don't see Butcher as an AoE thing. Please don't. Please don't. Please fucking don't make it an AoE thing. Please don't make it an AoE thing, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that would be horrible. As much as I love ogres, I don't want to see an army-wide half 40% HP heal. That would be horrible. But yeah, I guess yeah. I don't believe it is supposed to be an AoE thing. I think it's just supposed to be a one unit kind of thing instead of an AoE heal. Yeah. I think there's actually a report. Alright, never mind. Yeah, it is intended to be single target. It's fine. I think there's just a bit of a wording issue because you can, we all see the affect units all. Technically, it means that the ability can affect all units. Just that it doesn't have, like, all units as in, hey, it can affect this one, it can affect this one, it can affect this one, kind of thing. Yeah, it can affect, it can mean that it can affect any unit you select. It can affect all units as that you select. So it might be a bit of a communication mishap. I think that's what might have happened. Because I just quickly checked into the checked into a conversation about somebody reporting that unit description, and CA has confirmed it is intended to be single target. So don't worry about it. It is causing a bit of confusion with the wording, I suppose, but it is a single target. Oh wait, it's not called Butcher anymore. It's called Meat Feast. Anyways, it is supposed to be a single target thing. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it's fine. It's single target. No problem at all. The patch notes also state this member will lose the slow, but the pre-release still had it. Oh, wait, this member loses the slow? I mean, the pre-release build for what I was playing definitely, yeah. That would be a bit awkward. That would be a bit awkward. Because Dismember is a really good tool. Like, I get it if Dismember loses the AoE aspect of the slow. That's understandable. But if it loses the slow entirely, that would be very awkward. Because that would be a great way for... That is a really good tool in battle for ogres to bog down enemy targets. But if you can't do that anymore, then oof, that would suck. Actually, let me just quickly check the patch notes. We can, yeah, sorry, we're not doing... Sorry about not doing the replays immediately, because I do want to go through the patch notes first. I don't think there's anything stated on the... Yeah, I don't think there's anything stated on the... Yeah, hold on. What? I don't see anything about Butcher, though. Did they say anything on the patch notes about Butcher losing the slow? Oh, wait, Dismember. No, that's not... Yeah, Dismember, not Butcher. Oh, it doesn't... Remove stat modifier speed. Oh, shit, that is bad. That is bad. Oof. Yeah, that is a bit awkward. I'm thinking they might... just... They might have accidentally put the speed in there, maybe, perhaps. I'm not sure what happened here, but I feel like Butcher losing slow would definitely be better than... no, I mean, Butcher, the Dismember, having slow is definitely better than Dismember doing damage. in my opinion. Yeah. Anyways, let's just go through the rest of the army changes here. Tomb Kings recruitment costs for Arcan is cheaper now. Oh wait, no, 20 gold more expensive. Never mind. But cheaper on a skeleton chariot. Nothing too major. Sphinx of Uzkaf getting a minor nerf, which is good. Definitely feels like that thing has been plaguing the multiplayer for too long. There, Crypt Goals is getting a minor buff with more armor piercing damage. I don't think that makes too much of a difference, but hey, it's still a decent buff, I guess. Exalted Lord of Change. Base recruitment cost for Changeling. That's fair. Versatility has proven to be relatively problematic. Yeah, just having I don't think the versatility here makes any sense, because after you change to your selected lord choice, you won't be changing it back. You want to use your selected lord choice anyway, so you're not paying for 2 lords at the same time. You're just paying for the lord you're picking normally. So yeah. Anyways, Exalted Lord of Change getting more gold, and Burning Chariot getting more ammo. Burning Chariot getting more ammo would be nice. Probably will be a little bit more impactful. Grave Gods getting cheaper. Crypt Goals getting a minor buff. Actually, the Feasters in the Dark getting a major buff. Yeah. Grave Gods with Halberds 975 to down to 900. So we definitely see more of these Grave Gods with Halberds holding the line against enemy monsters, since vampire counts really do suck against monsters. Chaos Warriors here getting a bit minor attack buff and a cost buff, but other than Chosen getting a cost buff with the Great Weapon variant, but these are regular Chosen. Nobody ever uses them anyways. Wood Elves getting a cost increase to Durthlu and an HP reduction and melee defense reduction. Grave Gods with Helvets feels really bad. Oh, really? I haven't had a chance to use them a lot, but I feel like they would be I thought they would be decent, I guess. Well, especially with Corpse Cart support. A nerf to the Wildwood Rangers bonus versus infantry. I guess CA feels like they're a bit overtuned after the rework of the Guardian of the Wild Woods. So yeah, but I'm not quite sure about the army abilities and the spells changes. So yeah. I don't know. I really do wish they don't take away the slow on the Dismember. I mean, the pre-release patch I played on with the Dismember does have the slow effect. Like, okay, imagine if the army ability of Slaanesh doesn't have Rampage and only has the damage. Would you even use it? You probably won't in most situations. Yeah, they're a joke compared to Tomb Halberds, especially given that their roster doesn't have a backline. Being cheaper, if good, but I think they could have gone further. How are their stats compared to each other with the Tomb Guard and Grave Gods? Tomb Gods Halberd definitely cheaper than the Grave Gods, and then we have the... Oh wow, they're really bad. Never mind, I take back whatever I've just said. Tomb Guard Halberds have more melee defense, more melee attack, more speed, more leadership, more charge bonus even. A little bit less weapon strength, but I think the stats matter more over here. And most importantly, silver shields. Yep. A little bit less armor, but honestly, that 35 armor isn't going to change the world for anything. But like, I'd rather take the 13 more melee defense here, dude. So yeah, I guess, yeah, the vampire counts halberds are horrible compared to Tomb Guards. Yep. Anyways, we are done with gameplay here, and let's go into... Yeah, we're done with the patch notes. Mostly, like, the overview of the patch... Oh, wait. Yeah, mostly the patch notes are just not that impactful in terms of multiplayer stat changes. A lot of them are just minimal changes, shifting a little bit stuff here or there. So I think the meta will most likely remain unimpacted by the stat changes. It is gonna be the new tools introduced to the it's gonna be the new tools introduced to the DLC that is gonna make the most impact on the game. But other than that, that is gonna be it for the patch notes here. I don't really have a lot of coherent thoughts about it, unfortunately. But let's go into the replay section. I don't think I have a lot of replays. Let's see. Forain, send in the 2 replays. I think I don't have the Scarbrand versus... I don't have the Khorne versus Tomb Kings one, but I don't think Scarbrand is interested in sending in that replay since Khorne does struggle a lot against Tomb Kings, so yeah. Probably not gonna be a back and forth or anything. But yeah, let's just have a look at the replays. I need to go and download all the replays I got here. And load them up. Not a lot of replays today, only 3 I think. So gonna be a quick one today. Seed versus Contrarian Codex, this time Warriors of Chaos with Shadow Prince Balakor leading the army here versus Grey Seer, Contrarian Codex with Skaven. You can use corpse cards for Grave Gods, but yeah, basically, like you at that point you're already investing like what 1,300 gold minimum on those Grave Guards. It's not worth it. All right, cool. On the battlefield here, army builds for the Warriors of Chaos, Marauders, Aspiring Champions, baby. Yeah. Send those in against the Skavens. They can't really deal with the Aspiring Champions. Unfortunately, the Warriors of Chaos seems to have lost this one, so I'm feeling a bit sad. But anyways, Spawns of Slanesh on the side here, providing some soporific musk, reducing enemy melee stats. And this guy is Belacor leading the army with Pit of Shades. That's a lot of spells. Pit of Shades, Occam's Mind Razor, and Melkos Mystifying Miasma. I feel like that's too much spell investment here. With Balakor providing some solid leadership debuffs. Yeah. Whispers in the Dark, -6 leadership, making sure that Skaven's route earlier. But because of all that investment into monsters, Balakor, and the Aspiring Champions, that means there's not a lot of funds left for the mobility department. So the Warriors of Chaos only having some Chaos Warhounds to provide some mobility pressure, and that means the Night Runners are more than enough to screen them off. Night Runners protecting the side here. Oh, this seems like both players are accidentally played online battles, but that's fine as long as they fulfill those engagement rules. Might be a little bit too close to a white line after fanning out with all these Skavens, but oh, if the players didn't raise it during the tournament, I assume they just didn't really see a problem with it, I guess. Anyways, the Skavens here, front line of Skaven Slaves, second line of Ashen Triads with some Poison Wing Globes ready to nuke enemy infantry, and more Poison Wing Globes, and Red Ogres holding the back line here. Leading the army is the Grey Seer of Ruin, and the Skavens are just fanning out. They have such great numbers that the Warriors of Chaos can't really flank the enemy here. Anyways, I feel like not bringing Burning Head while bringing Aspiring Champions might have been a mistake, because the greatest point about Aspiring Champions is they don't care about friendly fire in terms of spell damage. So you can send those Aspiring Champions in and just drop a Burning Head on top of them, burn down the Skavens, and then the Aspiring Champions can just walk through the fire without anything, without any issue. But right now, the Aspiring Champions will have to fight their way through, which is not great. Marauders are getting blasted by Poison Wing Globes, although there's a lot of friendly fire to Skaven Slave Spear, but they're just Skaven Slaves, so who cares? Chaos Spawns are flooding in on the sides here, but the Skavens will use their body to buy their backline some time, and Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons are coming in, but a dreaded 13 summons right but on top of them is just going to blast them to smithereens. Although some Aspiring Champions manage to get on top of the Poison Wing Globes and shutting them down. There's a little bit of staturing. Okay, anyways, Balakor is getting completely surrounded by a ton of Clanrats and Ashen Triads here. But he is dropping a Pit of Shades on top of himself, just trying to nuke down those Skaven infantry. So that should be doing some pretty good work here. But you can see the Warriors of Chaos army is already behind on balance of power. A lot of their units are getting whittled down. All their infantry actually getting whittled down by the Poison Wing Globes, and even the Spawns of Slanesh are getting peppered by all those projectiles from the shurikens from those Night Runners, and are running out of health. Be'lakor is trying to snipe out the Grey Seer here, doing some good damage, but Ashen Triads are sticking to his back, trying to just really finish off this Warriors of Chaos Lord. Especially the Gutter Runners with Poison are also firing in with their... well, not really firing, throwing in their shurikens, getting those damage done, peppering down the Demon Prince. Demon... not... is he... can he really... he's kind of a Demon Prince, right? Yeah, he's cutting down this demon with the sheer volume of firepower, whittling him down due to the lack of armor. Spawns of Slanesh not having the most armor is definitely on the verge of death, while the Ashen Triads are still roaming the battlefield, providing some solid anti-armor fighting power, though they're probably still going to lose to the Aspiring Champions. Aspiring Champions don't give a damn about Poison Wing Globes or the Gutter Runner poison power. But they are getting overwhelmed and surrounded in terms of numbers, though. Like these ones fighting Red Ogres, who does do armor piercing and slowly hacking through their HP. A bunch of regrouped Marauders are kind of being forgotten here. Spawns of Slanesh being whittled down by the Poison Globes. And Be'lakor being stuck in a bunch of, once again, Ashen Triads, providing some really nice anti-large fighting power. And Be'lakor is running low in health. Aspiring Champions are still holding on strong, but the rest of the army couldn't keep up with these elite fighters. And that's probably going to be it for the Warriors of Chaos. I mean, the Night Runners are running out of ammo because they are the regular ones, not the Slingers ones, so they have really limited ammo. But even then, they have done enough damage. 700 gold on these guys, 470 on these guys, and they can double down as a kind of a melee chaff to saturate on total enemy units as well, so it's pretty nice. Aspiring Champions... oh, Weeping Blade from the Ashen Triads would be really nice to just drop their armor and make other Skaven units do a bit more damage onto them. Not that it matters, due to the armor piercing on the Red Ogres anyways. Shadow Shroud on Be'lakor, trying to keep his HP high using the 60% damage resistance, but the Red Ogres are just surrounding him and pummeling him down, and the Marauders are getting routed off. Yeah, that is gonna be GG, as the Aspiring Champions, despite their best efforts, the rest of the army just kind of fell apart. Yeah, I feel like a big missed opportunity here to combine the Aspiring Champions with AoE spells. Like, the greatest thing about Aspiring Champions really is just the fact that they don't take any damage from missiles and friendly AoE spells. So you can just walk them onto the Skaven front line, drop a Burning Hand on top of them, and they will just walk through the fire while the Skavens are either burned to a crisp or just fleeing from the fire. And then the Aspiring Champions can just walk into the backline and cut down the enemies. I want dismounted Blood Knights that actually had great stats. At that point, you might as well just add dismounted Grail Knights, right? Give Bretonnian the elite infantry they never deserve. But I feel like it is a fun idea to give Blood Knights and Grail Knights dismount or something, but I don't think that is a good idea in terms of just... like, it's gonna pad out a roster just for the sake of padding it out. It removes a kind of a distinct unit. But if you're talking about dismounting a unit and like giving a unit a dismount ability to turn into foot troops, it might be more fun to play around with, I would say. Old War has Knights of the Realm on foot. Ooh, yeah. Is it? I guess that works too, but it also removes the distinct identity of Bretonnia as like this cavalry faction. But again, I mean, it works if a dismounted knight, if the current existing knight units can dismount and fight on foot, that would be more of a fun idea than just simply adding a dismounted knight unit, I would say. It's like all the Bretonnian knights should have a horse with them. They should always have the option to go on horseback instead of just going with on foot. Now, I mean, if the Grail Knights, if they're retired Grail Knights, because like Grail Knights are supposed, in the lore, Grail Knights are supposed to be able to retire and just guard like, guard artifacts or guard like important places, right? Important places of interest. Like, those should still be elite fighters, slightly less elite than your usual Grail Knights. But if they can turn into like a foot
low entity count foot unit, that would be cool as well. Maybe you could dismount them in game, but they lose the horse. That would work. But the problem is that CA will need to build new models for that shit. And we know CA doesn't really have the manpower to do a lot of remodeling. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna come up anytime soon, or I don't think that's even gonna be on their backlog for that. Okay, for the I don't think that the Knights on Foot will even be possible in Total Warhammer 3, unfortunately, because at that point you're just making a whole new unit. Anyways, Warriors of Chaos, they don't need to build new models, they just copy the Shogun mechanic. The code. Oh, okay, maybe they can do that then. Historically, man-at-arms with horses fight on foot was a thing when it was tactically sound. I didn't even send in a replay. The game was so fast I had no point posting. Yeah, that makes sense. It's fine. Like, I spent too much time babbling about the new patch and the future patch and the DLC anyways. We don't really have time to cast all the like, I think we have more than enough content for the stream. And a fast game is not really needed this time. Bellacore here did some pretty good damage, and the Hounds, somehow these guys chase off a lot of Skavens, I suppose. Didn't really pay attention to them, just mostly focusing on the Marauders and Aspiring Champions, and Bellacore getting shut down. As for the Skavens, I think most of the damage was done by, the Poison, Wind, and the Night Runners, especially Gutter Runners shooting at Bellacore. Ooh, actually, Ashen Triads did well, surrounding Bellacore as well. But yeah, otherwise, not a whole lot. Ooh, actually, these two Rat Ogres getting some solid value. Beating up the Aspiring Champions. The Aspiring Champions are expensive at 1,100 gold. That troops could eventually be dismounted is logical, but it was equally logical that flying units could land, and that took a long time to come. Exactly. Like, CA, I feel like CA backlog is really full right now with all the bugs, new units, new content, and yeah. And they don't exactly have the biggest team right now, given the financial mishaps with Hyena. So they are consolidating with Total Warhammer 3, which is a good thing. I'm seeing a lot of good changes coming in with the Omens of Destruction, with and also the way they communicate with future updates as well, more frequent development blogs, which is great. But that came at the cost of like a pricey lesson, and because of that they are kind of strained on resources. I don't think they have the resources to go out of the way to do these kind of stuff. Like, especially like people have probably asked for dismounted units people have been asking for formations for ages. We're still not seeing that for Halberdiers. We see that for FA, Jade Warriors, and Peasant Long Spears, but where is it for our Halberdiers, right? So yeah, I don't think... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff missing from previous generation of Total Wars, but... and because of resource constraints, I don't think everything can be brought to this game. Anyways, Bahrain versus Steelbolt here. This time, Chaos Dwarves versus Siege. Oh yeah, Alright. Thanks, Cyrus. Medieval Total War 2 Crusades had Unhorsed Knights. That would be neat. Like, I like the idea of having an elite shielded armored infantry, but and they should be the kind of badass they're supposed to be. I expect that Warhammer 40k would basically have 3 units type on release: armored free, company militia, weapon teams, and multi-model steam tanks. You think those steam tanks will be multi-model? That's just gonna be single-modeled. Bruh. But I do hope to see some kind of a Warhammer 40k. I don't see how Total Warhammer 40k would work, considering we have a lot of open field battle. When Warhammer 40k as like a combat system works better with something like Company of Heroes or Dawn of War. That would make more sense with those squad-based combat, especially with like tabletop. Because right now we have like regiment-based combat. We have a group of 100 people or so fighting against each other. That makes sense if you're fighting against, if you're fighting in like historical battles or pseudo-historical battles. But total of 40k, we are just gonna have a squad of like 10 people, 20 people max. That's very, very different from what we're having here. And you're not gonna have formation combat because formations, tight formations against like long range missiles and shit like artillery, that's suicidal. And yeah, I don't think the traditional Total War formula would work in 40k, but we shall see what CA wants to cook up in future Total War titles. I think they're doing fantasy titles. They have like future titles in development or some shit. I'm not sure. I think there are rumors or some shit. I'm not entirely sure. But otherwise, let's just go back to the battlefield here. We have Goblin Laborers here from Bahrain, coming in with his beloved Chaos Dwarves, a front line of Chaos Dwarf warriors, and backed up with a shit ton of blunderbusses, 5 of them actually. Fire glaives at the back there as well, with orc laborers scattered on the flanks, providing some flank shielding. Saucer Prophet of Metal, not on any Taurus, not on any flank house, just him on his foot, with Searing Doom and Chalice of Blood and Darkness. In the skies, there's one Lamassu. Interesting, not bringing a flying mount, just bring a flying monster, and a mediocre one at that too. So we shall see what happens. Oh, right, the Lamassu does have silence. Yeah, an AoE silence, that would be quite neat against Spellcaster. If they just send the Lamassu against the Exalted Lord of Change and just keep it on them, that might work. But the problem is there are some screening units here on the other side. Chaos Furies, 3 of them infect on the ground a bunch of Marauders of Tzeentch with 2 chariots and 1 Soul Grinder with their long-range firepower to snipe enemy units from afar. A bunch of Sandigos of Tzeentch, Sandigos, 2 of them, and that's it for army builds. Is there any more Furies? No, that's all. Alright, let's just fast forward here as the Chaos Dwarves are capturing the point. Lamassu just hanging out at the far side there. Just chilling. Not much to do. Don't really want to stay in the sky and get shot by the Soul Grinder, who is now targeting the Lamassu from afar, knowing that they need to kill off this single entity, and also because this single entity is probably the best unit to snipe with the long-range tracking missiles. But the Lamassu very wisely hiding behind a tree, just blocking the shot, cutting off the line of sight and blocking the shots from the Soul Grinder, while the Goblin Laborers are moving up ahead. But the Lamassu got a shot, took a shot from the Soul Grinder here, while the front line, the Blazing Beards of Bazarak blasted some, set some Marauders of Tzeentch ablaze, while the chariots are coming in from the flank. And unfortunately, some of these Orc Laborers have some gaps in their formation, and allowing some of the Zandigors and chariots to pile in. The blunderbusses did light up one of the chariots, now down to 3 models, and lost half of their HP. More blunderbusses continues to fire in, and that's going to be more losses of the chariots soon. On the side there, Infernal God Fireglaves fend off those Furies, and but now here comes more Zandigos coming in. Searing Doom on to the enemy infantry here, just blasting away some Orc Laborers and blunderbusses, and Furies just tying down the Infernal Gods with Fireglaves. Infernal God with Fireglaves holding on just fine, hacking down those Zandigos in the melee fight with their anti-large, and then the Orc Laborers will be coming in with a rear charge to pin down the Zandigos of Tzeentch. Well, here comes a final transmutation, but unfortunately that would not be too good here. Probably better just drop it on the Lamassu even, just to drain down the health of this monster or something. But yeah, great damage, doing a bunch of damage against the blunderbusses, but that's not going to shut them down, as the blunderbusses are still have quite a bit of fighting capacity, as the Tzeentch rush has largely failed to shut them down. They have taken damage, no touchable as well, but the problem is that now all these Tzeentch mobility, the Furies have died, and now the Chaos Blunderbusses are, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses are back online, focusing, cross-firing onto that poor Tzeentch Exalted Lord of Change, who was also hunted down by a Lamassu as well, taking a bunch of damage in the process. Now the Blunderbusses are firing onto the Furies, Searing Doom onto the Blazing Beards, not doing a whole lot of damage. Probably better to just shut down this focus down one of the blunderbusses first. But either ways, Fury Summon being dropped onto the battlefield, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. Furies can try to hunt down the blunderbusses, but they won't really be able to overpower the blunderbusses in melee. The chariots still are kind of in this patch 5.3. It is chariots are much more impactful in patch 5. And patch 6, but yeah, the chariots of Siege right now is just not doing a whole lot, getting other than being deleted, absolutely deleted by blunderbusses. One of the Furies is going down, turning Doom onto the Marauders, but yeah, that is gonna be GG. We can probably fast forward this one, as the Soul Grinder trying to snipe out the Llamas, who not having a whole lot of success so far, and another final transmutation. Probably better just use Searing Doom on the Blazing Beards, if anything, to work down the enemy infantry. Yeah, that is gonna be GG. It is quite hard for the Furies to overcome so many blunderbusses. Even the chariots won't be enough here. And the Marauders just got pushed back by the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. And a ton of Goblin laborers, Orc laborers, just holding them back mostly. Allowing the blunderbusses to do all the work here. Blasting the enemy, chariots blasting the Exalted Lord of Change, getting some insane value throughout the game. And Fireglaves also, even if you charge them with a Thanagor, they have enough melee stats and anti-large to just fight back. Chariots just got armor check here, pretty much. I mean, I don't think it's armor check, it's more like resistance check. Because these blunderbusses are armor piercing. If it's an armor check, that means the shots are non-armor piercing and they need an armor to like they need to be checked with an armor to tank it. But there's no armor check here. It just got deleted. Yeah. And yeah, I don't think the Soul Grinder is a good pick in this case. Maybe Exalted Flamer might work. Might is the keyword here. I'm not quite sure. Probably need a ton of melee pressure just to get into the enemy backline. But Borain is definitely one of the few Chaos Dwarf mains in the multiplayer scene here. He does love his he's and as a result he's probably one of the best Chaos Dwarf players out there. There's overlapping kill zone of multiple blunderbusses and Fireglaves is definitely devastating to the Siege army here, as their melee units just can't even get close. Oh, they got armor check. Oh, yeah, right. They got AP checked here. More like armor piercing check. They don't do armor piercing damage. Soul Grinder is good in this matchup. Counters or Dwarf artillery and does good damage into trains and flying cows. Oh, okay. Okay. I stand corrected. That is a very good point. But yeah, everything else over here like just failed to break those Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses. The Furies, the Chariots, they just don't do enough damage against the armored blunderbusses. And yeah, the blunderbusses survived, and that means the Siege units were obliterated by the counterfire. And then one final battle for the day, Chaos Dwarf versus Tomb Kings. Once again, a similar build of blunderbusses spam. One final game here. All right. Hold on. All right, cool. So army builds on both sides, similar to the last time. Orc laborers in the front line, though the Chaos Dwarf warriors this time are the great weapon ones. Blazing Beards, and a bunch of Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, 2 Infernal Gods with Fireglaive, and a Chaos Dwarf blunderbuss. No Lamasu. The extra funds are going into those Chaos Dwarf with great weapons, and a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire this time with Burning Head to burn down enemy front line. For the Tomb Kings, a front line of Skeleton Warriors, a back line of Ushapti with great bows, one of them the Chosen of the Gods, and some Skeleton Spears. Double Ushapti, Necrosphinx, actually, sorry. Doubles Necrosphinx, and 1 Necropolis Knights with Halberds with Cetra on foot, ready to smash some goblins and chaos dwarfs, and you can see the Ushapti range is really coming in handy here, obliterating the blunderbusses from afar, while the blunderbusses are still foot slogging through the battlefield. And to try something novel, since Kitty counter Infernal Iron and Ushapti kill all monstrous units and single entities. Yeah, that's fair. And seems like the blunderbusses though getting absolutely obliterated. I wonder how does Death Shrieker rocket launcher do against Ushaptis, since they have significantly more range than the Ushaptis. Anyways, blunderbusses are finally getting into range and trying to get close and shoot at those Ushaptis, but a lot of friendly fire onto their own orc laborers, though they are deleting some Necropolis Knights. Infantry are clashing in, and orc laborers will probably soon fall to the enemy monsters. Ooh, a little bit of lag here, sorry. Ushaptis are retreating away from the range of the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and this is where the problem of Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses comes in. They don't have a lot of range, and that means the more mobile Ushapti can just quickly scoot back out of range of these blunderbusses, safely fire at those armored infantry formations. Blazing Beards continues to delete the enemy infantry here with their explosions and helping out their Chaos Dwarf warrior Great Axes variant. But yeah, the infantry push is suffering at the hands of all these Necrosphinx defending the flanks here, especially these Chaos Dwarf with great weapons are kind of blobbing up on each other when one of them could have peeled off and go after one of the Ushaptis. And the blunderbusses being stuck behind the enemy skeleton infantry, they are unable to reach those Ushapti with great bows and just sitting there getting blasted to death by all those firepower. So one of them has been routed, the others are also not far behind. Yeah, some of these orc laborers are already routed as well. Fireglaves are trying to get close and shoot at the Ushaptis here, but the Ushaptis still standing very safely at the far back. Now finally some blunderbusses almost getting there, getting close enough to light up some Ushaptis, doing some really good damage with the first volley. But yeah, once again still the Chaos Dwarf warriors are still kind of stuck on these skeleton warriors and the Necrosphinx. So very unfortunate for the Chaos Dwarf here, losing not losing but just having one available melee unit kind of occupied elsewhere. And Infernal Gods are being disrupted by enemy charges. Now finally the Blazing Beards had dealt with the enemy infantry at the front there, now going after the Ushaptis at the back, but Necrosphinx are just going to be psycho charging in, getting those splash attacks out. Ooh, slaughtering a few Chaos Dwarf warriors. And on the far side there, the skeleton warriors just fighting fighting the Sorcerer Prophet. Not the greatest fight for the skeletons, since they don't do much armor piercing, but just occupying those Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses and Infernal Gods with Fireglaves, keeping them at the back there, while all these missiles are kind of distracted by various melee units. Yeah, the summoned Ushapti, Arkan, the Cetra the Imperishable himself, and none of them are able to just provide any fire support to the front line, who are trying to drive back the enemy missiles, but then also exposing themselves to the psycho charging of the Necrosphinx. And yeah, the Chaos Dwarf are trying to just capture the point and get a bit of victory, get the ticket victory here, but a lot of their missiles are basically gone. Balance of Power is behind for the Chaos Dwarfs. And yeah, those two Chaos Dwarf warriors are still fighting here, duking it out, and you can see they just did minimal damage to the Necrosphinx throughout the battle. They really need to get it going and try to reach the enemy constructs, which is what one of them is doing. Fireglaves managing to get in range to shoot at the Ushapti, but these blunderbusses trying to fire at Cetra. Probably not the best target. He is a Footlord, so he doesn't have a lot of yeah, he probably did more friendly fire to the nearby Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses if anything. But still, that is those blunderbusses does a lot of burst damage, and then there's also the Fireglaves firing in as well. So they're doing some damage to Cetra, not a whole lot, but at least it's something, I guess. Yeah, Ushapti's going into melee just to dissuade these great weapon warriors from keeping their pressure on them. Just probably trying to push off these great weapon warriors so that the Ushaptis can keep firing again. And yeah, Cetra is in the crossfire zone of multiple blunderbusses and Fireglaves, and the closer he gets to the blunderbusses, the more likely he is getting hit by multiple projectiles. So he is getting hit hard, trying to drop those Lore of Nekara passive heal with the Restless Dead here. But he's getting low, and Oh, getting a good hit onto blunderbusses, but he's getting shot more in point blank. The problem really are the double Necrosphinx here. The blunderbusses survive long enough to just shoot them down, or will the psycho charging prove too much for the kill stuff in the end? Now there are more infantry from the kill stuff here dragging down those Ushaptis, catching them out of position, but oof, looks like the Sorcerer Prophet might want to run. He does not want to get stuck in a fight against the Necrosphinx for sure. Blazing Beards are also almost catching up with the Chosen of the Gods to drag them down in melee. There are still one unit of very healthy blunderbusses, but now being targeted by some tattered but still surviving Ushaptis. This one's still being relatively healthy and can probably fire the last few volleys onto those. Oh, there's another. All three Ushaptis survive, and they're just focusing down this one healthy blunderbuss. And without the blunderbusses, there's no way for the kill stuff to kill off the Necrosphinx, and there's the one skeleton warrior on the far side. Goddamn. Yeah. The kill stuff are trying their best to save those blunderbusses and maybe get in range to just start firing at those Shaptis, but it's easier said than done. The Sorcerer Prophet is also being hunted down by the Necrosphinx here. Ushapti Grey Bows trying to get into melee. Now they're out of ammo just to occupy the blunderbusses here, and even the Necrosphinx is here. There are no melee units to protect these blunderbusses and Fireglaves, and that means they will fall to the melee of the Necrosphinx as well. And once the missiles are all gone, so is the hope of Killstorm winning. And that shall be it. That shall be Tomb Kings winning, securing this victory over here. Deathstricker gets 2 shot by Bone Giant. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot about this Moon Giant here. Excuse me? Okay. Sorry, think I have a little bit of nose allergies or something. Yes, had to try something novel since Kitty's counter Inferno Iron Swan, and Deathstricker gets 2 shot by Bone Giant, and they kill only one Boshafti model every 20 seconds. Okay, yeah, that makes no sense to keep using them, I guess. Meaning it takes 6 minutes for them to kill one Boshafti unit, probably a bit more due to vigor. Then there really is no reliable way for Killstuff to counter the Tomb Kings due to the long range missiles. Killstuff with one blunderbuss managed to get some good damage, the others not so much. Fireglaves though managed to get some solid long range firepower done, but because they have better reach, longer range than the blunderbusses, they're able to fire earlier and also fire from a safer distance from enemy melee troops. Also better precision due to them being a single shot missile instead of a shotgun. Great damage with the Blazing Beards, actually dragged down one of the Ushaptis in the end, but other than that, unfortunately, not quite able to deal with the double Necrosphinx, who managed to just psycho charge everything to death, even with Cetra dead in the sand. And yeah, that is gonna be it for today's stream. Oh, these Ushaptis obliterating those blunderbusses and Fireglaves from afar. Feeling quite sad for them. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of multiplayer action at the end of the patch 5.3, at the end of pre 6.0 patch. And tomorrow we'll be moving on into Omens of Destruction. So yeah, I hope everyone have fun with the new DLC, getting some really exciting units coming in for the DLC here. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Congratulations to Ash for winning this tournament, and GG to everyone who has joined the games. And big thanks to everyone who has also dropped in and checked out the stream as well. If you want to see more Total Warhammer content, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Every little bit of liking and interaction on the video helps with the channel, so would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you in patch 6.0 in Omens of Destruction. Tactical Lich, signing out.